Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another edition of the Zulu 24 podcast. And as always, our podcast is sponsored by Antec Airsoft Studios. He's good with guns, bad with table saws. Whether you're trying to just make your gun look nice and pretty or make it shoot to the moon and back, head on over to Antec Airsoft Studios if you want to reach out to him online, antecAirsoftStudios.com. And also the snack bar. They serve hot food, cold food, red food, blue food, me food, and you food. And also Zulu Outdoor. It's an outdoor store, but it's indoors, so it's an indoor-outdoor store located right here on Zulu 24. If you want to reach out to them, you can give them a call at 845-684-3139. Whether you just need that last-minute item or you need to pick up an entire kit, they've got what you need. Head on over to ZuluOutdoor.com. And also Blue Mag Airsoft. You won't be blue when you shoot their BBs. They've got high-quality BBs, and they're trying to get them manufactured right here in the United States. For more information on that, head on over to BlueMagAirsoft.com. Also, don't forget, you can listen or watch this podcast on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple, Amazon, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify with video, and Google. Remember, always like and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Go ahead and push those videos out there. Give it to your grandmother for next birthday. I'm sure she'll love it. What's going on, guys and gals? Welcome back to another edition of the Zulu 24 podcast. Actually, we don't have a name for it, but that's what we're calling it. Welcome one and all. Today's special guest with us is Rich Campbell. If you've ever been to a Milsim West and seen a bald-headed freak man running around with a duffel bag full of pyro, then you know who Rich is. He's here with us today. But first, let's talk a little bit Zulu stuff. All right. Benghazi tickets are live, and man, what a show that was. GRS sold out in 1 minute and 58 seconds. So I just want to thank everybody for supporting us like that. That's freaking amazing. Op4 tickets are still available, so if you didn't get a chance to get a GRS ticket, jump on in, get some Op4 going for you. We also, the night that the tickets went live, Hop-Up called us, and they were like, yo, we got a problem. Turns out Benghazi broke Hop-Up. And so what actually happened was there was so much internet traffic coming in and out of the server that the server freaked out and went above and beyond the 50 ticket limit. I think we ended up selling actually 124 tickets. That has all been rectified thanks to the diligent work of Colby and Matt over at Hop-Up. They immediately caught the problem. We came up with a solution, and we got it fixed. So sorry to all those people who bought tickets and thought that they had a prized possession in their hands, but you know what? You never really had it to begin with, because if there was only 50 tickets available, you wouldn't have got it anyway. However, we are aware that some players, like a one-off player, got a legit ticket and the rest of his team did not. So if you're that one player where the rest of your team didn't get GRS tickets, if you want to switch over to Op4, you have until July 1st to reach out to Grimnair. Tell them that you want to go on Op4 with the rest of your team. That will open up a GRS ticket. And the way that we're going about that is we have all the data on all the timestamps for who bought tickets, right? So if player number 50 says, hey, I'm going to go with my friends to be on Op4, that will open up a ticket slot. It will immediately bump down to number 51, all right? So that's how we're handling that. And that's pretty much it in terms of Crossroads. Also, man, we broke Hop-Up. Awesome. Crossroads. Did I say Crossroads? I did. I said, Benghazi is what I'm talking about. Crossroads tickets are on sale as well. If you want to get an op-in before Benghazi up at Zulu, come on out and get some tickets for Crossroads. They are pre-register only. There's no walk-ons or anything like that. It's going to be cool. We're going to have the helicopter there, blank fire mortar, and some drone action. It's going to be fun. But with that being said, welcome Rich Campbell to the podcast. How you doing?
How's it going? How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure, man. I just met you kind of recently, but you've kind of been a fixture in the airsoft community for quite some time.
I guess so. In some form or fashion, like I've run into people or just knowing someone, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, you know that guy," and I'm like, I don't half the time I don't recognize people because they're in like camo
Yeah.
or like their face paint, and then like afterwards I'm like, oh yeah, that guy, yeah. But yeah, I've been playing since 2001.
Jeez. I actually remembered you from I don't know, it might not even been called a podcast back then, but it was like a group sitting
Yeah, that
with
was
like Josh
Asked,
Warren and
yeah, that was like Asked Amped, like it was with the guys that worked at Amped at the time, and they just had a discussion roundtable, and I was friendly with them, and I had met them from a couple previous ops, and because like my team that I'm still part of, there's only 3 of us left, but had a sponsorship with Amped, and they asked us to come on, and because I was playing a long time. That was actually really fun because we did it at a brewery.
yeah.
And we filmed like all 3 parts or something like that, all at one point. And yeah, that was really fun. I think it was myself, Warren, this guy Tom, and then like
I think Ronan was there. Right?
and then Ronan was there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was pretty. It was good, you know. And I think what Matt and Anthony at the time who worked there, really wanted something special because they were doing that Ask Amp thing for a while, which was really cool. Like it was a cool question and answer. A lot of what am best barrel and what is best gun, but a lot of time they did But yeah, I met them at like a Lion Claws event in like New Jersey, like God, geez, I don't maybe 10 years ago or something like that. No, a little bit less than that, maybe. Jeez, it's so hard. It's like one big.
Was that the
blur.
OpEx in New Jersey?
Possibly, yes. The one where yes, it was at the
Fort
people-
Monmouth.
yeah, if people weren't familiar, it was for like technology for the Army, and you saw posters of like, yeah, we're gonna give Army guys cell phones, but like they were like big bricks.
Yeah.
So there was one room in there that they were like, do not close this door. It was one of those like soundproof rooms that like if you close it, no one can hear you, and like it's one of those ones where and no one will hear you. No, like
I think they said like I was at the game too. I think during the safety brief they said don't close the door behind you because by the time the fire department is able to cut into there, you're already dead.
yeah,
There's not enough air.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so
not
just
good.
Don't close it.
Not good. But yeah, I've been playing since 2001, and man, I've seen a lot of changes, especially like with you guys, like at your field. It's like
So
it's
real
nice having
real quick before we get into that type of stuff, right?
yeah.
So you were one of the unfortunate people who got the fake GRS ticket notification.
Yeah, I was about to say something. It looks like I bought 3 and I seem to have 2. That's what it seems like.
Did you get a refund?
I got a refund for 1, but I got charged for
Oh.
the other 2. So
Well,
Oh, well, that's a twist.
I was
That
going to
is-
invite you.
that's a plot twist, right?
it's a plot twist.
But I was gonna say because we're going down the list. If somebody wants
Uh-huh.
to join other teams, what number do you think you were out of 124? What numbers do you think you were?
I bet you I was 50 by the time of the email. I wouldn't be surprised. I was like the last guy.
So we just looked at the hop up numbers.
Okay.
You were number 54 through 56.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
So that's a plot twist because also if you only got refunded for 1 ticket,
I can call Ian and figure that out.
So wait,
Yeah.
did I get a ticket? I'm not confused now.
we're not sure
So
now
It's up in the air.
because we were on the
Oh.
phone with Ian
Yeah.
when you walked in.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. So that, I know I saw the charge of the 3 tickets. That went away. Got an email. It changed on the bank statement of basically 2 tickets plus the tax and everything like that.
Yeah, it was 192 after
Yeah.
tax.
So then I was like, I guess I got 2. I guess, so
Well, we'll see. The
if it
story-
doesn't work out, you
this-
can be on my squad.
I'll be up for it. That's
The-
fine.
the bright
I'll,
side
I'll
of
literally
op
bring the Cyma M73.3.
Op4 is super fun.
It's the best gun you can get for $170. It's
Op4
fantastic.
is incredibly fun.
Rich, you don't have to whisper into the mic.
Yeah, you-
It's
Yeah.
okay. You can use
It's
your
just a-
you
it's
can
a
use your
secret.
normal voice.
it's a
I know
secret.
everyone.
It's just us.
Anybody that knows me knows that I definitely am a loud person. It may get to that point.
That's okay.
I know. I just
You're okay, bud.
I'm starting off soft. I'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get into some spicy topics, and I'll just be like, ah!
So, Rich, I want to use this opportunity to ask you if it doesn't work out and you're on op 4, be in my squad.
Of course, I would be with you.
Because
Guess what? If one of my guns breaks, I'm going to go, Anthony, fix this gun. Because I literally, you are like my private tech now.
my plan is to I'm going to do blank fire, and then I'm going to have 2 airsoft guns as my
Well, like strap them to your back.
Well,
What are you
so
gonna use?
can you clarify this for me, Dave? Is it RPKs are allowed to go full auto for this event? Because
They have to look-
Rimmeter's doing it.
They have to look right.
So if it's like my Galil with the drum mag
Nope.
and the bipod,
Nope. You said RPKs, not Galils.
but Galil is in the same class as an RPK.
Anthony, you're not picking up what I'm putting down. I'm specifically just saying that you, with a Galil, cannot go full auto. That's all.
Anthony will die on this hill, and
I
Dave's
will
going to be
die
here
on
for
this
it.
hill. I will die.
I think
So my backup is this. I was telling you before, I made my first real geeky like chest rig purchase.
Mhm.
Typically, I'd buy gear just to like this is practical for airsoft.
I was
It's
impressed you
thing.
had that unobtainium gear thing. I was impressed.
That
by
was I got that practically because it did what I needed to do for my 1st
Mhm.
MSW, and I still have it in my card. Fucking awesome, I love it. But so I found this. I was looking for a Chi-Com to do some Haji shit on eBay, and then
Okay.
I found this listing for it was a 1983 Israeli like IDF recon like paratrooper chest rig, and it has like all these modern features on it. Like it's kind of like the South African Defense Force chest rig.
Oh, that 83 pattern 83.
But it's also it's like that and a Chi-Com had a love child. So it has like the 4 mag pouches, and it's got these huge like binocular pouches, and then another one on the back. It's got an H harness. It looks like it's Ranger Green. I got it off the bid for like $60 something after shipping.
excellent.
Steal. So now I'm just like I got to get a bunch of mid caps to work in my ICS Galil, because if anybody owns an ICS
'Cause
Galil,
it's poo-poo.
well they never made mid caps. They only had the high.
No, they
cap
never made a
mags.
good gun, is I guess what you were saying.
Well, it's like an AK essentially.
Uh-huh.
If you can upgrade an AK, you can upgrade the Galil. But the mid cap situation is a nightmare. So now I have this chest rig. I'm devoted to getting some Galil. I don't want to run AK-74 mags. It accepts SEMA AK mags with some mods, but I want Galil mags. So I'm really like geeking out over this chest rig.
Could you denil real ones?
I could,
But they would cost a ton of money, I assume.
I could modify the receiver to work with the SEMA Galil mid caps, but I don't want to like deface the receiver. I'd rather 3D print and insert for the ICS high caps because aesthetically they look like
Oh.
real stamped steel mags do. They look really like beautiful.
Yeah, I would do
But
the
I'm
permanent
geeked out.
application.
I'm gonna be bringing some cool guns, and I like last time I did Benghazi and I was squad leader. I took my squad to do some sneaky shit, and it was fun. And I also want to try to convince Eric from Gun Gamers to be on my squad too, because I know he's going up for, and I know he's gonna bring an LMG, and I know he's gonna bring like
He's probably going to bring his
Fire
RPK
barrel.
or something. No, the RPD.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
already said he's bringing the RPD, but
Yeah.
also just for knowledge, you can buy real Galil mags for $29 online. Problem is they're 35 rounds, and you're not getting those in New York.
this is
Wah,
well
wah.
that's
wah, wah.
no, I'm talking about my airsoft gun.
I know, but you can take real mags and convert them over. People do that with Sistemas all the
But
time.
I guess the whole
Oh,
thing is,
that-
I wonder if even the real ones would even fit in that receiver. It's so like wonky.
I'll stick with the. I have 3 ICS.
Wait, don't they
high
have a? Isn't there a Galil variant that is the LMG?
Yeah, that's what he has.
That's what he
I have.
has,
It has
yeah.
the wooden handguard and the bipod and the bottle.
Yeah, no,
opener.
but that's the regular rifle one. Isn't
carry
there?
handle.
Isn't it like there's a solid stock version or something? It's some other.
Oh, I have the wire stock.
It's the,
Oh,
yeah,
he's
he
the
did-
paratrooper one.
yeah, he's trying to pass it off as a.
Oh, but if you get the
But that's all
if
I
you get the
got.
stock, then see what the
I'm looking it up.
yeah,
if I
find
can,
that up.
if I
Look
can
that up.
convert it to the LMG.
Look that up, Jordan.
I mean,
I
it's
like
not
this now.
like
now that he has information with the internet, that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
The story
fact-
of that.
I wish
gun-
you had a little screen here because then I could be like, yes,
We'll get there.
So
yeah.
that Galil,
great.
that's actually my wife's gun. Her brother got that for her as a birthday gift, and like she never plays and I play, so I'm just like keeping this baby
Wait,
alive.
Yeah, so
The-
there is a
the
variant
ICS
of the Galil that has a full stock, and that's the one they have put up as the LMG version. The one that Anthony has, yes, does have a bipod. Yes, it has the silly bottle opener thing, but that is technically the paratrooper version.
Yep.
Bop, bop,
Yep.
bop.
So if you want to convert it over to a full stock, I guess that would be the LMG version. I'm sorry, I don't want to kill your vibe.
No, honestly, it sounds like it's going to go great with the chest rig that I got. It's going to really
Yeah.
justify that purchase.
Well, technically, it's not an LMG, but
But there is another version of the paratrooper one, which is short barrel, short handguard, doesn't have the bottle opener. The one he has is technically the IMI Galil ARM. And
Yeah,
I'm
a
looking-
really long one.
AR, automatic rifleman.
Automatic
That's not.
rifle.
Oh
Okay.
no. Okay, so it's on weaponsystems.net.
I mean,
It's labeled
Anthony,
as
if
the
you really want
light
to,
machine
just-
gun chambered in 5.56 by 45. It's the squad automatic weapon designation for the Galil, I guess, is what they're going with.
Show
Buy
me
a
a
real
military.
one, get a Dremel.
Oh well, it
and
would be
put a
Israelis.
Polestar in it.
I mean, you could just borrow something I have. I mean, you can like if you really want.
Well, like I have a thing because so I play Insurgency Sandstorm,
Okay.
Oh,
and that's
no.
like not the cool like game. I get it because you play Tarkov,
Boo.
Well, we've been playing Arma, but
Arma.
Insurgency slaps.
but like for the support class for the Hajis, you get that Galil. You get that exact.
That's
version
so
of it.
weird. That's such a. Weird.
So are you trying to base your entire hill off of the fact that in a video game it's a light machine gun? Because in Battlefield 3, the M27 is a light machine gun.
Well,
It's still not a light machine gun.
But it's the support class really. It's not that it in itself.
cool.
is
What's the
a light
rules?
machine gun.
Support weapon.
For Zulu? It's what it is, and
I know.
I've accepted.
I'm just
that.
giving you shit.
Yeah.
So good luck with that.
But
I
yeah,
would-
You can be on my squad. You should
Okay.
be in my squad.
I mean, you could use that featherweight saw. By the way, if you have a featherweight, buy an Antec feed block.
Life changing.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, buy it. It works, and literally, you could put a light, a laser, a red dot on one of those things, have an F2 in it, and it literally will weigh 8 pounds.
Also, I just want to shout out Amped Airsoft and Airsoft Junkies because they're carrying my feed blocks now, and they've been very gracious and helpful and supportive in that. It's like my first actual product launch that I'm like distributing to some other people, and yeah, you guys rock if you're listening to this. Thank you.
They're not. There's like 200 people listening.
I'm
Also
gonna, I'm
that-
gonna post it and
That's only on YouTube.
tag them.
Is
and
the
DM it to them.
is the 20 millimeter adapter stock available yet?
20 mil.
The one that's
The pick
the-
rail
the
adapter
pick
for the
rail
featherweight.
adapter for the featherweight that I have on mine.
So I have the file for it. I'm just looking for somebody to outsource the printing to
Mm.
because using a normal FDM printer, like what I have, it works for the feed blocks for what that part is.
Yeah.
But like yours broke, and I wasn't even using like a weak ass material.
Yeah, the other ones that you gave me are fine. So whatever you did, like you changed the
That's a different
thickness.
material.
Hmm.
So
because it worked for MSW. And my
I-
buddy Anthony used it, and he was like, "This thing's fantastic
I-
on those mountains. It was 8 pounds and it was a
Yeah.
machine gun.
so
It was
I
fantastic."
Yeah.
I used Chat GPT to write up a non-disclosure agreement for this. So
Are you-
and I'm actually going to
Wait,
use
are you
that.
serious?
I'm serious,
You,
yeah,
you
I'm
used
gonna-
chat.
Yeah, I was like,
Oh, you.
Of course.
I'm going to use that, and I have some people in Airsoft that already 3D print stuff for other guys.
Mhm.
They're in the U.S., and I want to go to them.
Yeah.
There's a couple options. I'm just
Oh,
gonna
good.
get some samples, and then we'll see what other products. I
Oh,
mean,
that's excellent.
Because when that happens, there's a lot more to come. It's not just the feed blocks. I mean, the feed blocks are great. I would like to outsource it. Obviously, when you do it yourself, you get slightly better profit margins, but it takes so much time. And,
You would need so
know,
many
and I-
machines, and like, God forbid,
I have-
one
I have
breaks
enough-
or whatever.
I have enough printers to keep up with the current demand because it's still a very small
Yeah.
operation. That whole 3D print, R&D side of things, but like, it's good for me to use those printers as tools for prototyping for guns I'm actively working on. But the moment like I'm processing orders for like Amps order or Airsoft Junkies order,
Yeah.
and then I also have people buying on my website. I'll come in the shop one day and I'll just be processing feed blocks. Just like
Yeah,
removing
you're
support
better off.
materials, and I got to fix guns. You know what I mean? So-
Personally,
So-
I think how you like think. I think you're better off just, hey man, I figured out this device. I figured out this little knickknack, whatever, and like whatever the profit margin is, if somebody can print it in like large scale, and I don't have to think about it, whatever, because I'll just I'll make another thing, and I'll make another thing, and I'll make another thing instead of wasting my time. Unless you were making some insane profit off something, like I'd be like, okay, maybe, but then you really would want a large demand, and you'd want like a bunch of printers. I would think like you'd want like a whole farm or whatever you would call it.
Most of it came.
I
about-
obviously I don't have a PC at home, so I literally am computer illiterate. I
So-
used to be big into PCs, and then I just kind of went caveman.
So,
Sword.
speaking of Chat GBT,
Oh yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
we decided to let the computers do our jobs for us.
Okay,
So, we asked Chat GPT, GPT?
GPT,
I think, I
P,
think the
PP,
prompt
P
I
like
put-
Paul.
Yeah.
like
P.
the PP.
I think
So,
the
touch your
prompt I
pee-pee.
put
we
in-
asked
Let me see.
Chat GPT what we should ask you. It didn't know who the hell you were.
Oh,
That's fine.
Great,
But here are some questions that it came up with.
excellent.
And I haven't read these, so we'll just see how it goes. Number one, How did you first get into airsoft, and what drew you to the sport?
Oh, okay. So Counter-Strike was obviously
Oh,
is still
man.
a huge game, and at the time, my friend, who was the same age as me, like he literally had an Airsoft Elite MP5. Now, people may not understand what that is. So there was two in the early 2000s. You had two options, or actually, kind of four. You had Tokyo Marui, but it had a plastic ABS body. It's not like they are today, where 'cause a lot of them are metal bodies or die cast or whatever. Then you had Classic Army, ICS, and Airsoft Elite. Airsoft Elite was like it seemed like a rebrand of an ICS and or a Classic Army, depending, but it was an Airsoft Elite MP5. And I remember he showed me, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is ridiculous!" And obviously, granted, I'm from New York, from Long Island, and looking at a gun is like, "Oh my god, could I even touch this?" Like, And God, geez, I forget how old I was. I mean, maybe somebody could do some math or whatever. I literally can't remember.
What year?
2001. So I was like maybe
you were 17.
Yeah, about 17, 18. Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
And I was like, this thing is the sickest thing ever. And like, it's like, yeah, it shoots. And then you start shooting in his basement. I was like, this is awesome. So then I remember buying from a guy in Connecticut who had a little shop. I don't remember what the shop was. Everything was like super mom and pop back then, like really mom and pop. And I bought a Tokyo Marui P90, which had just like come out. Now that I think about it, at the time, I just thought they existed. A Tokyo Marui P90 and a KWA G26 with the full auto switch.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and it was like had the orange that was like gooped on.
Yeah.
Oh, when
but
they
that
just
thing
painted the orange
yeah,
on the slide.
yeah, and it was like the old boxes. And I remember just being like, I wanted, so as the guy's ordering this thing, I'm ordering the thing from the guy. I'm asking him, oh yeah, put this, put that. He's like, yeah, we could like put these Prometheus gears in, or the Sistema. Everything was Sistema back then. Actually, it was Sistema hard gears and Sistema motor and this and that. I was like, all right, that gun shot awesome. I don't know what happened to it. I think I sold it to somebody, but I kind of wish I still had it. But it's whatever. I've had a lot of stuff come and go, but
So then when did you start playing though? Like where is this backyard stuff? Because I feel like that's where everybody started.
No, I didn't do backyard. Like literally, like how I was introduced to airsoft, like right in the deep end, like high end stuff. And then we were playing out East Long Island at a place called Quorum, which was basically Cousins Field. And I bought a lot of my stuff from Long Island Airsoft, which was actually like owned by like the former members of GMR, or like some of the guys. So there was Paul, there was like Ronan, then there was Jay, and I think there was one other guy like that was associated, but I don't know if he was like he left early on, but like they had a shop. And yeah, like I pretty much went in like feet first. Like I never played paintball. I didn't play paintball until I was like until 2008. Nice. Like, and it was, what was funny about that, my perspective on paintball is they gave me like a Tippmann 98. And then there was like some, like, obviously I'm a big boy. So when I say this other man was large, he was very large. Like he had one of these like guns with the dual trigger, and he had like this, I don't know. I think I remember hearing Spider or something like that. Yep. And we were playing indoor, and I just remember getting my ass kicked. And I was like, this sucks, because with airsoft now, no matter what, like, okay, obviously at the time, until like only really recently, most of the guns shot about the same. Yeah. You had like reliability issues. That was the problem back then. Was I just remember me and my friend Anthony would literally go to the Quorum field and literally have a trunk full of guns. Like we literally had at one point, I had like in my collection at one point 10 Classic Army saws that I had somehow sold, and
it's your backup to your backup.
I literally would just throw it on. I'd carry out 2 to the field and just break them all the time, because over there, like when we played, it was like GMR, this other team called Phil Force, and when they used to play, and he used to play, and it was crazy, because we used to like it. It was like the hit calling. Yeah, sometimes it didn't work, but then at one point we just realized, oh, let's just do pain. Kind of. It was like almost like kind of like that, but kind of not.
Red cylinders came in,
and it was wild. Like people were, we were trying to, even with no MOSFETs, just putting garage door springs into guns and seeing how long they would last.
Oh my
Like
Hell
basically,
yeah.
like I mean, we joke garage door springs, but like putting in like making our guns super long. Like, dude, let me put this like Sistema PSG 1++ barrel. So it's like 655 millimeters. It's this long ass thing. I still even have the upper. And like, dude, this is those games were fun. Now that I look back on, because it was just all it was getting up close and shooting somebody. Like there was no pyro, there was no HPA. Like all the other things, like all the reliability wasn't there. So like you would have, and like a lot of times was high caps, like mid caps were like they were a thing, but not really. A lot of people were just like, screw this.
Yeah, right.
And man, it was those times. So like, yeah, basically that's when I started playing. Basically, there's an old photo. I wish I brought it. Probably, man, I would say I wouldn't be surprised 2002, 2003.
Damn.
Yeah. And and on actual like film, like a film photo,
Nice.
not something digital.
I was in preschool.
I was working at a paintball / airsoft shop in 2001.
Yeah.
No, 2000. Sorry. All right. So question number 2. Oh, this could be. I'm going to skip this question.
Okay.
'cause-
Okay.
All right. Question number 3. Have you ever been injured while playing airsoft? How did that impact your view of
Yo,
the
I
sport?
was there for one of them.
Oh, okay. So like I've never been all right, so injury. There's one injury that happened at Milsom which West that was totally gnarly.
Was this right after the game started?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'll go into that story, but one thing's I've never really been overshot. Never been overshot. Like I think I can't count.
Why?
I think I can count on all hands maybe 5 times. One was really intentional indoors where like the guy really actually lit me up, and then I had to go, hey man, like what are you doing? Like, and it was like an angry individual. The ref saw it and everything like that, but I didn't get mad. But any other time that I ever got overshots, because I didn't like put a red rag high enough or anything like that. But really, all the time I played, so like people that complain about being overshot, I'm like, bro, just you're not calling hit, or you don't have a red rag. You're not like laying down on the ground. You're just standing in front of the guy's gun, going, why are you hitting me?
Yeah.
Like it's like, yeah, you're getting hit because of that. But
So I was just gonna say, it's like the reason why you're not getting overshot is because you're a loud dude and you're like freaking hit, and you
or I just
play,
lay down and I get hit, and I'm just like,
Exactly.
whatever.
You like play the game as intended. So quick segue, Benghazi, right? The hit rules of Benghazi are lay the fuck down. We passed 3 minutes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
no,
are we
26.
faking dying? Like in
I don't care. You can.
Oh,
You
I
can
definitely-
act out
I
your
like-
death,
I
or
like
you can
acting out
just
the death.
Yeah,
pull out
so-
your dead rag and die.
that is part of the rule set, is acting out your death.
Oh,
But
that's
at the
great.
very least, freaking lay down, pull your dead rag out. Anything. I don't care. As long as you lay down and act out your death, that's fine. Anything else you do on top of that, aka dead rags and blinking red lights, that's on you.
Well, that's something like we say it at the field all the time. A dead rag is only as visible as you make it. Like I hate seeing the dude, and this is a pet peeve, where he's just like, dude, I'm shot. I got my dead rag out, and these dudes are still shooting me. I'm like, yo, homie, you're holding it on your chest, and you're getting shot in the back. Let's just
Yeah.
think about this for
Yeah.
a second.
Or it's like dangling from their pocket.
Yeah, or they're like, they have it in their mouth, but they're getting shot in the back of the neck. I'm like, dude, they can't see your dead rag. You have to make it visible. If you want them to see it, hold it up as high as you fucking can.
I guess I come from a different era where like we literally coined the phrase barrel to beef. Like literally we would
yeah.
like just point blank each other. Like
Cool.
I just remember
Three
that.
tags
and,
all day.
and it was just like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, and people were kind of douchey, but not really. Like I kind of like
Also,
that
to
level.
be fair, old school Long Island Airsoft is way different.
Yeah, it was
I think there's things you can do in a small group
Yeah.
of people that you can't do.
We
Like
had
on a-
we had a large group. It was crazy. It was actually it was so sad when that place got sold as condos, because we were getting turnouts of like 150 sometimes.
shit.
Like we were getting some turnout. Like one of the games we made up a scenario
Well,
which is like
Corn-
really offensive called Durka Day, and it was right when Team
Did they make
America.
T-shirts for that?
What, no, right when
Oh,
Team
I'd buy it.
America came out, so
Coming
like
soon.
all the people just spoke like just terrible.
We have to
It's
bleep
terrible.
out.
Oh, yeah, no, that's just going to be a.
It's terribly
No,
offensive.
you can keep the. We have to.
Obviously, those were young people that were very stupid.
Rich, I'm offended.
Oh. But my actual worst airsoft injury would be where I was at Milsom West. at Shelby, and we were doing the. What would you say? Like you were here. You were there.
So
during-
I was pretty much right next to you for that. So
Yeah.
we were pushing up. This was the last Shelby game they did before they started the Insurgency game.
No. There was one. No, was it? Or I thought there was one more.
This was like the last Grozny game.
There
And then
another,
it was Grozny Insurgency
I
the
could
next
saw
time
there was
around.
another Force on Force after that because I went to.
It might have been in like the fall, but this was the game that was in like late February, early March.
Yeah.
So
but-
we were pushing from the most northern like compound area to we took your mosque area,
Oh God.
and we're fighting through this open field.
That's right.
And
So
Rich goes to
we
throw
get
something.
along. We get along some connexes, and I remember one guy is shooting underneath the connexes with like a PCAM or a machine gun, and I go, "Yo, guys, we gotta rush up. We can't gaggle fuck here." That's the one thing that you'll see me at an airsoft game. I get so frustrated when people are just like, let's go, and they don't go. It drives me nuts. I'm like, bro, get the fuck out of my way. Like, I will literally just go through plow people. And anywho, so like I grab an old ALS rubber ball grenade smoke that I got from an old op in 2008.
Nice.
Because back in 2008, like actually training flashbangs and all that was not regulated by the ATF or whatever. I guess this guy was able to sell it to us or whatever. We went to like a game in Florida where it was like 102, and this guy was selling ALS training flashbangs. And I also had ALS, and then I had this other brand, CTS.
Now,
CTS
let's
training.
just keep in mind for a second. He said he bought this in 2008. So this game was February of 2017.
Yeah. Oh no, I picked up on that.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
They've been
yes.
sitting
Oh,
out
yeah.
for a
The,
while.
They've been sitting.
yeah, they've been
That
That
sitting.
plays
Now-
a very
Now
crucial
the
role
problem,
into
the
this
problem
story.
is that the date was fine. I think everyone says because they went bad. I think it was user error. After all this time, I've realized I think I fucked up.
So what happened? What happened?
So I took the rubber ball. I'm like, I'm gonna throw this fucking grenade. Let's go. Ready? And everybody's like, okay.
It's also
And
pitch
and
black
what's
out.
funny, and what's funny is like it's all the guys that like we probably run into. They're all like not like they're not go-getters. It wasn't just a bunch of randos. It was people that like we know, people.
Yeah, that
I
whole
know-
situation was just kind of fucked. because
Yeah.
it was
So me
pitch
and Ant.
black out.
Oh, and by the way, that was the first time I ever did blank fire. So obviously, me and my buddy Anthony, my best friend Anthony, that like literally.
Is this the Anthony I met?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
yes. He'd be great on the podcast because like he's like got about as much time as I think he started in 2004 or maybe 3
You
or
two
something
are like a
that.
yin and yang.
He's-
because
yeah.
you're,
he's
you're
one-
big and loud. And
Oh yeah,
and
he's very
Anthony's
quiet and
very
yeah,
quiet,
reserved.
mellow.
He's one with the super long.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
that's the long barrel. We used to make those, and those were
Yeah.
called we called those guns the proboscis guns.
What?
But
happened?
Richard,
Okay,
what
happened?
happened?
I'm sorry. This
We
is-
got to
this
keep
is-
you on track, bud.
This
What
is the
happened?
problem. This is the problem with me. So what happened was, I'm like, me and him are blank firing. I'm like, dude, we can't do anything, but we're gonna go out there and just blast like crazy because
Yeah.
we bought so much rounds. This was like bonerific for me and him. We were like, yeah, 1980s, like every film we've ever seen, just go crazy.
Commando.
So I take this round. Now this grenade is quite large. Like my it's basically about the size of a softball.
Okay.
And there's little vents on top, and it has the same priming as like all the other smokes. I take it, but I'm grabbing it like kind of like this where the top is.
Yeah.
And what happens is it goes off and goes like because that's how it jets out, and it burnt my
Oh.
hand. It burnt the in between my hand, and I throw it. I'm like, motherfucker, I just burnt my hand. And then nobody's running. I'm like, get the fuck, I just wasted this smoke, you pieces of shit. I just run out there blasting. I get blasted, and nobody ran out. Everybody's like, right, what happened? I'm looking at them like, you fucking assholes. I'm
Oh, we're
yelling.
supposed to go now?
Yeah,
You
but
wanted
it
to
was
go-
hilarious because it was guys that are part of the Grommets. Is like all these guys are like they literally realized that I burnt myself because they could smell the flesh.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
the worst is I had pig gloves on and they were charred, and then I actually looked down and went, oh, I see white, like white, and I thought, oh fuck, is this my bone? Because it literally sounded like a jet engine. It was like going off. It was a great smoke. It would have been totally effective if I didn't grab it. Like I basically grabbed it like a fastball,
Yeah.
like, and that's what burnt. And then yeah. So then like I had to stop. One of the guys from Chicago, from I think like what are they called? Spartan Team 4, I think.
Oh,
one of
yeah.
those guys?
They're from Chicago.
Yeah, they had one of their guys a paramedic, and they looked at me like, dude, that looks fucked up. And then like I went over to one of the cadre at the time, Chris McCoy, and then Wally was there, and then I went. Wally goes, dude, that looks fucked up, man. And they didn't even want to look at it. They were like, dude, I don't want to look at any of that shit.
Yeah, because
like,
didn't they call an ambulance for you?
No. So what happened was I went, yo, man, like, can you put, I asked the two medics, the one guy and that kid, dude, can you just wrap this up and put like some goop on it? And he's like, dude, you need to go to the hospital, man. Like, you literally burnt your hand, because I was just so high on adrenaline at that point that I didn't realize how hurt I was.
Yeah.
But I could have easily blown my my finger off.
Yeah.
So what happened was I go into the Josh has rented a minivan. I hop in. I feel bad because I have to have Anthony come with me. We drove all this time. It was a shame, but I had to go to the hospital down in Mississippi, and I'm sorry to say I don't know what, that was a really bad hospital right outside of Shelby. It was pretty bad.
Keep in mind, we're in the sticks at Shelby.
Yeah. So Josh tells me a couple days later, he said, "Oh, you all right? Everything?" He's like, "Dude, I had a problem with like the van. It smelled like flesh, and it was just the worst. It was like a flashback for him or whatever. Like, all these guys didn't want to look at me. They're like, ugh. But it was really bad. But at the hospital, I'm sitting there, and mind you, this is a Saturday night. No,
Friday night.
Friday night. It might be
Yeah,
Friday
this happened
night.
right off.
Yeah,
step
this
off.
is right off step off. So it's Friday night. We're in there, and the best is like we walk in and we have black face paint on from like just. And we're like, dude, I just burnt my hand, and I look and I'm like all excited. I'm like, yeah, I just burnt my hand, and like people are like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? What is this?
Were you still wearing multicam?
No, I took
okay.
some stuff off, but like I just had the fit, and we looked nuts. And I like, I just realized we looked completely nuts. We walked in the bathroom that was like right next to the receptionist area of this hospital, and just started laughing, both of us maniacally giggling. I'm like, dude, I gotta wipe my face. The best is they try to put my hand in hydrogen peroxide in this tub that's like this by this, and I'm like, there's not enough hydrogen peroxide to cover my hand. I'm like, can you get some more? He's like, I don't know if we have any more.
Perfect.
And I'm like, can you crush your hand into the container to make it fill more in the cushion? I'm like, that defeats the purpose. It's going to hurt more. The best part about that was they gave me some pain pills, which I was surprised by. And then I felt pretty good. And then one of the nurses came in, this very attractive blonde, and said, wow, you look like you hurt yourself. And she was like very attractive. I was like, I feel fine. I'm all right. Don't worry about it. And then like, they just, I don't know if I had to get stitches. They just cleaned me up, and then we had to drive home, and it sucked because I thought about going back, but then it was like kind of an open wound, but I literally could have lost my finger. So that was definitely user error. I actually still have ALS smokes, so I could use it. But that is the worst airsoft injury. Otherwise, I don't think I ever had anything else. Maybe like I fell or something, but I can't think of anything else. But that's pretty bad. That's pretty harsh.
We should play with those smokes one day.
We could.
At
At Benghazi, me and you would just throw them.
Oh God.
They're actually
Please
cylinders.
don't burn your fingers.
They're the
off
silver.
at
They're the
my
silver
event.
cylinders. They're about like
Or burn down the egg.
They're
telling
actually
the
this
story-
circumference, and they're about like this big. So like they're the big
I
boys.
think I've seen.
As you're telling
Yeah.
the story, I'm thinking of the fucking med kit I'm gonna bring with me
Yeah.
to Benghazi.
just for Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The ALS training flashbangs were the coolest thing, and I just couldn't get any more of the actual fuses because you would spin them off. But it was at a game in Florida, dude. That game was wild. It was at an AI 500, like the Airsoft International magazine. They still have them in like the UK, like the games.
Yeah.
And that game was awesome because it was at Fort Banning. It was like the first time going to a MAL facility before.
That's Georgia.
Yeah, it was Georgia. It was like right on the border with Florida or something like that. It was like something down there. It was one of those.
Basically Florida, man.
Yeah. And I just remember like the heat was crazy and everything like that. But that was crazy. The guy was selling those. And then even at the Black Sheep event, somebody else was selling.
I got a
CTS
segue
ones.
for you.
Go ahead,
So
segue.
That was a crazy story.
Yes.
Right? Do you
And very
think-
long and convoluted, I know.
No, you're fine.
Do you think like compared to other activities like paintball or laser tag, like
He sniped it.
that's a huge like
Anth-
I have never
Anthony
heard.
just sniped.
Did you
my
let
question.
him see the questions?
Oh, he texted it to me, so he's got a copy right there. He's trying to get in on this conversation.
Oh, really? Is that what he's trying to do?
This was the prompt I gave ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Give me a list of questions to ask a veteran airsoft player who may or may not hate the sport. These questions.
The fact that you put
these questions are for a podcast
Well,
where this veteran airsoft player is the guest.
Wow,
the
that is
fact you used
amazing.
veteran is like minorly cringe.
Oh my god!
Well,
Yeah,
was
that
Dave-
kind of is.
That was Dave's choice of words.
oh,
I wanted to be cringe. I wanted the
Yeah.
I wanted the
oh,
questions.
man,
I wanted the questions to not just be like, "Oh, when did you start playing airsoft?"
Yeah, well,
Yeah, like
You
the
can
same
have
three questions you
ChatGPT
have to
make
ask
game
everybody.
modes. Holy crap!
No.
So the question that Anthony's tried to snipe from me
yeah.
was, what do you think sets apart from other similar activities? This is literally how it's typed out, like paintball or laser tag. What do you think sets airsoft apart?
I would say,
The BBs?
Well, I got an answer for that.
well, the BBs, I mean, the guns are analogs of real ones. Like you,
Sure.
literally, if I walked out with the System MP5, I'd get fucking blasted by a police officer. So like,
Yeah.
there's
Oh,
that.
God.
I think, what else? You know what? The range of the field. So like, obviously before Milsom West, there were some bigger games,
Yeah.
and they were pretty big. But Milsom West was like acres and acres. That's like I just came back from Bolcar, which was like with hills that were ridiculous. They looked like
Well,
skyscrapers.
that was
to
New
me.
York City man learns how to hike.
Yeah, pretty much. Like that's like me looking at the going, what the fuck, and basically going, thank God I lost 40 pounds in the last like 3 months. Otherwise, my 280-pound ass would not have gone there. I have to give credit. There was this woman that was on the Green Beans. That's like the Russian one of the Russian
Digifloor
groups.
dudes.
She did the game in Crocs and was doing it with Crocs.
That
Were they in sport mode?
She said that they were, yeah.
Oh,
But it
did
was
she have all-wheel drive on?
But it was I was like, oh my God, because her boots like fucked up or something like that. I was like, dude, this is crazy. I just remember
it's either crazy or ingenious. Crocs are comfortable.
Yeah,
Turns
they
out
were-
Crocs
don't
they-
have
she
to
did
change
say
my
they were-
footwear.
she did say they were very comfortable, so I imagine so.
I think there's something in the Milsom West tax op about shoes and footwear,
Footwear, yeah.
and I think Crocs are like a no-go. But
I mean, Dan McKinley wears them.
You don't have to wear
yeah,
socks.
That's Dan.
If Crocs came out with a combat
If you
boot,
could
I
wear-
would buy them. They're
If you
so
could wear toe shoes to Milsom West, I'll allow Crocs.
cool. Right. Anthony, I'll let you have the next one.
But yeah, so like the difference, like basically that's it. Like I think it's definitely like when people say it's a spobby, it's definitely like a sport and a hobby. There's definitely hobby aspects. Like I could just be a collector.
Yeah.
Right? But then like the sport aspect is actually going to like a Milsom West and completing that and going up a hill.
Sure.
Like you have to be somewhat healthy to do that. It's kind of like
Well, that's like the competitive nature, because at the same time, like airsoft in comparison to paintball and laser tag, like there's a whole realm and other dimension of
Yeah.
nerdism that comes with airsoft. Because airsoft, like that post we made on the Instagram the other day, like it is what you make of it. So you can
yeah,
do,
exactly, yeah.
You can do your Milsom West stuff.
Yeah.
You can do your speed soft stuff. You can be that kid that runs around in a banana costume. Airsoft's kind of like that middle ground that it brings you in because everyone wants to do the same thing, but what you do inside of that is your own choice. It's like living your own adventure. You get to be your own main character.
So paintball, I played paintball for a long time before I discovered airsoft. Right.
Mhm.
I used to go to West Point twice a year and play in the Combat Classic. It was basically, it wasn't a Milsom West, but it was basically 200 and 200.
Well, it was like a Lion
Yeah.
Claws event, but for
No, it was
Paintball.
way better than Lions Claw. It was like they had blank fire RD Sims. The cadets were running it. Like it was.
Oh, okay.
It was a
that's
legit
pretty
thing.
cool. That's
So-
pretty neat.
So the
Like more woods ball though, like right? Is that what
Yeah,
you
yeah,
call
yeah.
that? Okay.
So the paint contract. So the store that I worked at, somehow, shout out to Santos. He got
he's everywhere.
yeah, he is everywhere. He got the paint contract for that event, and it's pretty
yeah, that's big. That's a big deal.
lucrative deal
Yeah.
there. So we always got like free tickets or whatever, so we always went. And there's to comment on Jordan's comment there about the nerdism. One thing I've learned about the short time I've been on Earth is that there is a professional level to everything.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Right, so-
100%.
So like yes, we can get all nerdy about airsoft, but I was just as nerdy about paintball. And I'm sure laser tag guys
Oh.
get way nerdier into that. It's probably more technical with
Yeah.
laser tag, you know what I mean? Like so I think the difference with airsoft compared to paintball or laser tag is that there's a far greater potential with airsoft to develop like how do I put this? Like unit mentality.
Yeah.
Like paintball, everybody just kind of showed up and we had
You
fun.
could
it
have a
was
little bit of unit
great,
mentality, but it kind
but
of
not on the Milsom West scale,
Scale,
where it's
yeah.
like there's a company, you're part of a company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and I think that's what kind of sets us apart. Not only that, but airsoft right now is on that rise that paintball was at in like 1985.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We still haven't topped out yet.
Yeah.
Uh,
I also think here's another point that I've never heard anybody say. Think about it. It's the only, if you're going to say it's a sport or some kind of physical contact thing, besides laser tag, unless they have a vibration or whatever, it's the only contact or sport where you're the ref. Think about it. If I hit you,
Yeah.
you actually have to admit to yourself, I fucked up.
You didn't hit me.
That's
Yeah.
hard.
That's
Yeah, but
hard.
that
and
also
that's
creates
people-
problems.
I didn't
well,
get
that's
hit.
what, but that's what I'm saying. It creates problems. But think about it. That's like self-discipline to be like, dude, I fucked up. So I just remember early on, like, that was one thing about the old field, which was fantastic. They had a policy where, like, some guys, look, you come to the field one day and you're just a grumpy a bitch, and you're just like being a dick.
Yeah.
I just remember Jay going, here's your money back. Why don't you come back in like 2-3 weeks? Not like a ban or anything like that. Hey,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
everybody's having a problem with you. Maybe you need, it's almost like the Snickers break or whatever, that you need a Snickers type thing. And it would make people better, because you know what? No one could argue that the guy didn't give you your money back.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. And everybody went, and really, it was very rare to have a problem. I mean, you're always going to, because you know what? The guns, you think you're shooting at them, and you're not. Like, unless you're like point blank, or you just realize, oh man, I definitely got that guy. You just laugh it off, because then when they go to the parking lot and take their shirts off, you're like, it looks like somebody with like some kind of Middle Ages disease, like the Black Death, where it's like all pimply and shit from being ripped apart by like full auto at like no minimum engagement distance. But yeah, that is the one thing, is like with Airsoft, you literally have to be your own ref. And then the other thing too is, by doing that, if you're kind of being a bag of dicks, you're like ruining everybody else's thing. So like, you got to really come at it with like a really positive attitude for everybody. Like,
we need to start working on like an antidote or a deterrent to. So, all right, we all know that when one person yells, "Call your hits,"
Yeah.
it's like a toxin that.
Oh, I got it.
Oh,
But
it's
like,
it's a
what's
virus.
the pep talk that we hear? Like, what's the pep talk we should give? Like, if you hear somebody yelling, "Call your hit,"
I kind of ignore it.
They're
That's the
lying.
whole thing.
Yeah, see, but Richie, in that context, you're
If
somebody
you-
that has 20 years of experience.
Yeah, I
so,
guess
like, let's
so.
take it from
and you started at a
Yeah.
time.
No, you're
you s-
right.
You started at a time when it was like
Not even that.
We
I
have
don't
to, like-
remember that. I just
you started
yeah.
at a time
Yeah,
when
but
you
like-
had to like sneak around just to play it.
yeah. No,
For-
you're right. You're right. No,
For
you're
context, though, like, I get what Anthony's saying, because
Yeah.
we
It was
see it
a
every
blood.
day at the field. Like,
right. Yeah, you
that
guys see it
12 or
more than I do.
13-year-old that he saw it on YouTube video, he shot someone, he thinks his gun shoots a mile, and he yells, "Call his hits." Now, I have a fun one that I've been saying to players. Whenever someone yells, "Call their hit," or "Call your hits" on the field, even if it's not in the direction of me, I just yell back, "I did." That way, it kind of like makes them think.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
It's
think.
a bad policy. Okay, listen.
Wow.
Oh,
But
I was gonna say
that's
something.
the thing. You give them an answer, because those kids are now screaming, "Call your hits," and then when you walk up to them and you go, "Look, man, we don't say that here.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. You
Nope.
can't call each other's hits. You have to worry about
If
calling
you're
your own."
if you're sitting, okay, so I've only been to one and a half events where that was an issue. I already talked about it on another podcast, but basically it was like game on, call your hits, and then that was like the calling card of everybody that day,
Oh,
and it
God.
truly diminished
the whole
the entire event. And it was probably a great event. I actually had a great time, but a lot of people didn't, because that's all they heard, right?
Mhm.
But at the field,
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine to give an answer like that, but we have to address it. I think that's one thing that we do very well at Zulu, is addressing that if you're the guy out there yelling "call your hits," you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
Like you're an idiot, and we stomp on it.
Yeah.
Right? I know that sounds harsh, but really,
Yeah.
because we know that
it spreads like wildfire.
it's a virus.
It makes it everybody feel like
It probably didn't happen.
yeah.
Right? You watch too many YouTube videos with the little hash marks when they think they hit somebody.
Yeah.
I just watched a breakdown of, I'll say it, we can bleep it, it doesn't matter, Kicking Mustangs video,
Yeah.
where he puts like hashtags up every time he hits.
Yeah.
And then this person was like, slowed the video down, and you can see the BB miss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
It's the Novrich effect.
it is the Novrich effect. We can only see the BB for like maybe, I don't know, 20 feet?
I have one
Goes
of
up.
those run cams. They're cool, but I have yet to see, even out of my own footage, like 100% definitive past 150 feet where you're like, yeah, I totally hit that dude that's 300 feet away. You can see it in your scope, but camera technology, when you're making the sensor that small, it's so hard to pick it up. And I also, to get back on what you were saying about we have to stomp it out, it's not just that rule, it's all of them. And that's something that we set as a standard. Like for a prime example, it's 7:30, we got done reffing 3 or 4 hours ago. How many times today did we have to pull players and just go, look, we can't do this here, or look, we have to knock this off? Like, it was raining today, iPro was a problem.
Yep.
And pulling those players individually, but as a group collective, and saying, look, I know it's raining. I know you're fogging. I know you can't see. But if you take your eye pro off and you become a pirate, you still have to explain Monday morning to your mom, your girlfriend, your father
Yep.
why you're now a pirate. If you get hurt in the game, you get hurt in real life. And that's something across the board, whether it's call your hits or no full autoing with rifles or taking your eye pro off. We have to hit it so hard from the beginning that it doesn't become a problem. But these newer players, they see the YouTube videos, they see all the shit online that's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
actually,
never really even thought of that.
Or how many times
I'm
we
so
see people
disconnected from that. It's very interesting that you say that.
But it's also how many
Yeah.
times we see people come in the shop that are like, oh, I've never experienced this before. I just want to look around. And you explain to them like, okay, cool. It's your first time. It's your first day. Like, this is how it works. It's a game based on honor. And they go, oh, I would just never call it. And you have to look at them and be like, that's the problem. If you do that, you ruin the game not only for you, but for everyone else.
Yeah.
A dad like called me today about his son's gun, and then it was like a tech inquiry that turned into like, well, we want him to play. They live like an hour away, whatever. And it gave me this thought, right? Like, there are so many kids getting into the sport, and they buy a Novrich SSG 24 or SSG 10 before they buy good iPro. And like, when I was on the phone with this dad, and he was asking, what do we need? He had said they had an M4 AG that works. Cool. I was like, iPro, right? Because look, he's a kid, and like, kids are kids. They're impulsive.
Yeah, you're better off.
You know, like if he has comfortable iPro that doesn't fog, there's like very little incentive for him to impulsively just seek the comfort of defogging it or taking it off.
Yeah.
You just want him to be safe. Good iPro is like number one. Next thing is boots with ankle support, you know. And then if his gun works, it works. Me and Jordan have been talking about going out one day with some JG S System M4s.
Yeah.
Making a video of us just playing with like the $120
that is-
JGs.
Like
That is the
and
thing.
that's so like, it's so valid. I mean, it's not the gun. The gun is,
No.
and I'm the tech. And
I tell
you know,
I tell everybody when they ask that question, you should be spending like $200 on your iPro.
Yeah.
That's
Spend
why
as
we are
much-
pushing ESS so hard in the shop, because I know
As
it's a
much
good
as you can.
iPro and I know it's comfortable.
If I was a kid, I would just tell everybody just wear one of those dye masks. Those dye
Well, you can.
fives.
Well,
But again,
but
Airsoft is
people-
your own
yeah,
story,
yeah,
and you can be
yeah.
your own main character, and you might not want a full paintball mask. Some
Yeah.
people want to wear the Oakleys.
No,
with
you're
the
absolutely right.
ESSs.
Yeah. No, I'm saying for like young kids, like that is like, instead of trying to do that
The iron
metal
face
mask,
or the
yeah,
goggles.
it's always a problem. But here's the other thing about like the calling hits and stuff like that. I do this a lot, and it sounds like kind of braggadocious. It sounds bad,
Good
but a
word.
lot of people, I go up to them after like a game. I'm like, oh man, this gun shoots real well, and like like sometimes show them, like they were like probably like, dude, I'm totally hitting this guy, because they're basing it off the gun that they're using. Now, like most guns shoot, maybe what would you say, 50 yards average? Would you say?
most guns are going to shoot effectively, and I'll define effectively as like, you aim at it, you see it, you put
Yeah.
your sights on it, you shoot it, and you're reliably hitting it
With the
like
correct hop up.
at least 5 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
At least. I would say that range is like 100 feet.
100 feet. Wow,
That's forgiving.
wow,
I said
that's forgiving.
most.
I would have said 75 feet. But
I'm
Wow,
saying, I'm
really?
saying-
I think
I-
everybody's got a different opinion, because I would say 125.
I'm
Well,
saying
I would have
mo-
been a little bit longer,
I'm
but
saying
okay, all
most
right.
guns, but I'm also thinking like these new platinums. I'm thinking Crytek, SEMA AKs. Obviously,
Okay.
pistols. Just rule out pistols. You're not.
Okay.
it's
Yeah,
not-
if you're using a pistol after
but
50 feet, you're
but
not
you know
hitting
what? You know, if I'm thinking like these Valkyns, if I'm thinking like some of these like really like the really low end stuff. I feel like a combat.
I think
machine-
a lot of guys just don't. A lot of people don't even know how hop up works and things like that. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Well, so you
when I
wanna know
show-
what
so
it
when
is.
I
I think a
show
brand new
people-
combat machine, and if you're shooting 2/8 out of it, and you set the hop up right, good. After a month, and it starts to like go, and it needs some maintenance and new bucking, that now you're looking at like.
I've had more people when I have them shoot one of my guns, because I am, like you said, how you introduced me with the pyro. I am a friend this weekend told me I am the definition of pay to win in Airsoft,
yeah.
because
Yeah, you are.
I had an
literally throw money.
SR25. I had that A&K SR25 Kythera with a UGS stock with a Rico RL25 thermal clip-on, a FLIR whatever, and just every kind of knick-knack
Dual
widget you could
tubes,
put.
a thermal.
Well, not dual tubes, just a PVS 14 and a FLIR breech.
Poor.
man, poor.
Oh, you had 2 thermals. Oh,
Yeah,
good
I had
for
2
you.
thermals, just one for observing while I'm walking and one for my gun. But like when I, when you see
Moves
how this
thermal
thing,
out of the way.
yeah, when
to
you
look through.
that was
thermal.
actually kind of a pain in the ass. I actually like had to do.
Richie is literally the U.S. government.
Oh
Airsoft.
my
He just
God.
throws
You are
money.
My life is so
He
hard.
throws
RoboCop.
money at the problem.
Yo,
until
he
it's
is
no longer a
yo.
problem.
My
Yo,
life
all
is
right.
so hard. I have to move all these
All right,
thermals
so-
out of my way.
All right, yeah, I definitely am RoboCop. But look, if anybody has ever watched RoboCop 2, Anthony, why don't you look at one of the cameras? Does he not look like the kid from RoboCop 2?
Yeah.
The character is named Hobb.
Put it on screen.
He'll put it on screen. There you go. I
Put it
think
up
that's
in
what
the
he looks
chat.
like, baby face. But like once I have them shoot like one of the guns I've spent money on, they go, "Oh shit, that's how you shoot." And actually, they don't get mad. They go, "That makes sense why I didn't hit you," because they're basing it off what their gun is. And they go, "Dude, how did you do this? How much did you spend? Who'd you go to?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I went to Antec, or I did this, or I did that, or hey man, let me see your gun." And then a lot of times their hop up is just a little bit tweaked, and I'm like, "Dude, if you have it where it sails and then goes and drops like that, you'll get better accuracy." And you're like, "Oh yeah, oh my god, my gun shoots so much better." A lot of people just don't know, and if you're like one of these like guys that goes to a field a lot, it is nice to actually go and help players. I always thought helping players is better, but obviously you're going to get some people that are
Well,
That is the next
two.
question.
Yeah. So hold on,
Right
we'll get to
there.
that. But I think
Yeah.
another
Okay.
part of that is that people don't actually know what distance looks like, because how
That's
many
true, too.
times
That's
we've
true,
said
too.
it during the safety brief. If you're standing at the safety brief podium at the field, the end of the AstroTurf is 100 feet. They've
Yeah.
measured that out to be specific.
Yep.
But how many times players come up to me and go, "Ref, how do I know what 10 feet is?"
Could you take one of those I thought I saw it in the by the staging area, one of those like kickboxing dummies, the one with like
Oh, the medical
punch-
dummies we use for down pilot games.
What if you had one standing up on that AstroTurf and you had a white line and you marked it 100 feet and be like, "Hey guys, see this representation? This is 100
That's not a bad
feet."
idea.
And doing
So-
that, so people go, "Oh, because
Yeah, because the thing is, I see it all the time, especially when I'm reffing, is players start engaging people that are way far outside of BB gun effective range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Ref, I know I'm hitting him." I'm like, you might. And this is a big might. I was like, but fire and maneuver. If you think you're hitting him, you can hit him again, maneuver on him, shoot him
Yeah.
again, because I guarantee you probably hit a twig or the wind blew or you're shooting 2.5s and there's a slight breeze.
But
Like,
there's also the factor that by the time it gets to a person,
Oh, he's
the
moved.
the feeling is the energy is way less.
well, there's that, but he also could have moved.
Yeah, yeah. there's all
Anything
that
could have happened.
Yeah.
And because of that, we always tell players, if you shot them, you can do it again. Get a little closer and do it. And I'm going to go down there and watch them and see. And most of the time, before I get 75% of the way to that person, that player's BBs are dropping at the ground because they don't realize
Yeah.
that they're outside of the effective range because they don't know what distance looks like.
Yeah.
Here's another thing. Here's a pro gamer tip. I did this the other week before I went to
Balcar.
Balcar. I get these names confused with all these names, with all these names of these games.
Richard's like,
The but
like 3 names.
yeah. I always would have someone shoot me with my gun at a distance because I want to know what it feels like. 1, 2, how far is it? So me and Anthony would have each other shoot each other at a certain distance to find out, because it's the only way you figure it out. And then the other, what was it? The other day I had Ethan, and I had who was the other guy that was at the field that was with his SR-25 who helped me?
Kevin.
Yes. And I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go out there and you're going to shoot me." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is the only way to find out, because at that distance, right? Once I turned around and looked where I was, I went, oh, yeah, that's 80 yards.
Yeah.
Not 85 yards.
I remember the
Remember
night I
when
got to
we-
shoot you with your gun.
Remember when we first built your SR-25
Yes.
at Thera, all right? And it was a fucking... The airsoft gun's not even the funny part of the story, right? I've never seen this natural phenomenon happen.
Oh.
Rich is like all the way out by the trash can or on the other end of the driveway, like just like arcing the hill so we can get as much
Oh, I
range
told
as
them, yeah,
possible.
shoot me. And they're
I'm
like,
shooting
what?
at 'em.
They're like, are you sure about this? And I'm like, yes.
And we're
We
like
saw the
300
sky.
feet of rain, or 300 feet away, and we see it start to rain by Rich, and we realize it's not a little rain; it's like a torrential downpour.
It was a wall of just rain,
And I'm
no
running-
rain.
and he's
and
running
and-
away.
I'm
a
running
wall.
away. I'm basically doing my best Tom Cruise impression. I'm like, no.
Me and Jordan saw this wall of rain just coming towards us, and Rich is trying to like run past it, and we're just like, "Fuck that!" We just
He's trying to outrun the rain, and we're like, we can make it inside the shop before this comes. We got in with very little water on us. Rich came in and was soaked.
It's like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, man. He's just like,
Yeah, just
It was
running
like
away.
the moment he got hit with this gun, like
Yeah. And by the way, we were doing that at night with the thermal.
It was still bright enough to see out.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to see the point of impact versus where
But that
it
is
was
the
going with the
that is the best
thermal.
way to figure out how your gun feels at a certain distance. Like, people don't think that, and once you do that, you turn around with a friend that's shooting you. You literally go, like I remember turning around because that SR-25 literally I measured it out. It shoots like 87, 90 yards. It's ridiculous.
That's
with,
far. Yeah.
with fours. It's and all the field limits and the MSW limits and everything. But like I was like, it doesn't seem that far because I'm kind of snobby with that. And then I turned around when I walked out there and looked at who was shooting me. I went, dude, if they were in camo and we were in just the field part where we parked, I'm like, if they were wearing some kind of like ghillie suit or just laid down, I wouldn't even see them. I'm like, so I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And they were the first round, they hit me right in the chest. I was like, ooh, ow, yippee, yippee, oh, okay, and that's it. So like, I think people don't know distance. That's so by that extension, people think you're not being fair. So if you're able to,
their BBs are just dropping.
They'll also base it off of other people's range.
Yes.
I saw a guy come. He built a really nice SR-25. It shot. It probably shot as far as the one I built you. This one was an AEG. And there was an instance this one day he was playing, I was revving, and some people just accused the guy in the bush ghillie, just not calling his hit. But like, because they were basing it off of their perception, because he was schwacking the tree. They were hiding behind it, and they're shooting back at him. But they don't realize that like he actually had like 300 feet of range, and they had half of that.
Yeah.
So that like that the perception is a huge.
When you show people, and that's the thing is like once you show people what it is, like, oh, okay. And so that goes back to when I first played paintball, is I saw the discrepancy between having a semi-auto like Tippmann 98 and one of these spider things. I was like, fuck this. At least with Airsoft, we were kind of all playing on the same level field. You can get a little bit better, maybe be a rate of fire, maybe more reliability, but everybody kind of shot the same. Now, like with HPA, certain tuning, certain BB weights, there is a pay to win, but it's still not as bad.
It's within the confines of the sport and the LARP because there's classes for it.
It's not as bad as paintball, I thought. At least me.
There aren't guns shooting 300 feet that are not DMRs.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be. I mean, look, if there's a green tag shooting 300 feet, hell yeah.
Then he broke physics.
Yeah, I mean, keep trying. I've been trying.
Yeah, or he's shooting at.
I was gonna say, the closest we've come is my gun. Because mine's a green tag all the time, and with 4.0s, I can shoot you at 250. That's about the best we can do.
We're playing with like jewel creep and 4.0 like heavy BBs, and we're
I can't believe that I
pushing it and
XL 2s and 2.5s. That's what they were called. XL 2s and 2.5s. I remember those were the BBs.
When you first started.
And then in what year was that? I'm trying to think when BioValve came out.
BioValve 3.0s.
No, the BioValve 2.7s. The little
the glass.
Oh, the silicone.
Oh my God, those were like whatever gun you shot out. You could use a Tokyo Marui, the lowest jewel limit. It would make everyone call a hit because it was just. And what was great about those BBs is at a certain distance, you actually could see them better than white BBs because the light would reflect off them. Reflect. Same thing. And then you'd see them at a distance. What was awesome is if you used a light behind it, like a flashlight, it was basically a giant tracer the entire time.
So the very first time I ever played Airsoft, right? So I discovered Airsoft through a video. And then looked up.
Do you remember the video?
I do.
We've talked
Night
about
Ambush in Utah.
Called Night
Oh
Ambush
yeah,
in
that's
Utah.
the best. That was a fantastic
He's
one.
seen
Man.
it too.
I remember. Yeah,
I wouldn't be
remember
surprised if you were in that
So-
video.
Oh no.
So-
But that was fantastic. That was literally the demonstration of like
What Airsoft could be.
And you know what? What's cool now is that if you guys aren't playing the night games at Zulu, has a very similar effect to that.
Yeah.
And the more you get like more tracer units, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. So I got into Airsoft, right? Found a place, local place. Turns out to be the location that we're at now.
Yeah.
It was their first day open, so it was me, the owner, and this guy CJ. Became really good friends with CJ. Well, the very first hit I ever took in Airsoft was a 2.7 silica BB right to my eye pro, and apparently like silica BBs apparently were like shattering eye pro.
Yeah.
And that was
Just for the record, we do not condone the use of BioVal 2.7s or any other glass or silica BBs, and they are not allowed at our store.
Or metal BBs.
I was literally using those at Fort Drum for Pine Plains and saws. I was literally
And so was everyone else.
Oh man, it was fantastic. You would literally be it was so good. Oh my God, it was the best. It was because at that point there really wasn't really heavy BBs. There was maybe 3s somewhere, like maybe some KCS brand.
Oh, the KSC 3.0s.
Maybe, but they weren't readily available. It was when 2.7s became available. It was something heavier. And it was like, oh, wow, this is what an airsoft gun could do. And it was like kind of wild. That was
Fast
awesome.
forward 10 years and we have 5.0s. Actually, there's somebody on Hop Up right now selling 6.8s.
I know I showed you that. That
Yeah.
was crazy. I can't even imagine.
6.8s?
And they're
6.8.
6mm.
They're 6mm and
They're
it's
ceramic.
$22
Oh.
for 50 BBs.
The
Yeah.
ceramic.
I think they're ceramic.
I'll pull it up and find
Yeah.
out.
That's
I-
no bueno.
but it's that 50 rounds.
It's almost
I
like
just
real
remember.
ammo.
I remember somebody created had 8s.
I saw those.
Is it
yeah.
an 8 mil?
No, it was a 6
Six.
mil BB, but it was more
So it
metal
was- it
powder
was
than
metal.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a metal BB.
Yeah.
An unpolished metal BB is all it was.
Yeah.
But
I would also like to just backtrack for a second and say how happy I am that we converted you over to the no nods night games.
Oh, it was cool. It's definitely neat. I just, you know what I have. Oh, actually, you know what about another airsoft injury? I remember going to a no nod night game because I only got nods once Milsim West became a thing. I
Yeah.
always played night games and never had a problem. But one time it was so dark I couldn't see my hand. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get impaled and I'm not gonna die playing airsoft because I'm gonna like literally fall down this hill and literally impale myself.
yeah.
But definitely with how the field is lit up and enough, it's good. It's fun. But I think if you mix the night vision and the tracers and like all that, you could definitely.
So the next night,
June 4th.
yeah,
ready.
June
I'm ready.
4th, we're doing. Everybody has to use tracers, and you can use night vision, right? And it's really a mechanic, right? So
Yeah.
it's making everybody comfortable being at night and
Yeah.
with tracers and everything. And now the guys who have MVGs aren't just shooting targets, right?
Yeah.
Fourth
So-
Sunday night.
What's that?
Is it Sunday night or Saturday night?
It's Saturday night.
Oh, it might be June 3rd then.
So
Yeah.
June 3rd, correct. But so the whole mechanic is that you can't shoot without giving away your position.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So it's going to make everybody feel comfortable. Like at the very
not
least,
a cloak of invisibility. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because I played night games with MVGs at my field,
Yeah.
right? And it kind of the first couple times you're like, oh, that was fun. But then after that, you're like, I'm just shooting targets. Like
Yeah.
half the time they
Yeah.
don't even know where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's-
Unless you're playing dedicated night vision user only games.
But you
where-
see them. So from a business standpoint,
yeah.
they're terrible.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because you get 12 people that show up. You're like, cool, I got to be here till 11. And then
Unless you had like what you had an organized game where it's like, yo, this is basically
would be an op,
Benghazi.
yeah.
Yeah,
It would
basically
have to be.
Benghazi. That's
Attrition.
yeah, that's Benghazi.
Attrition
Yeah.
was a really good one where like both teams could have night vision and it went to the night.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't 0 degrees,
Look, that's a big
More-
change that I've seen. I can't believe how many people at one point have Honda Civics attached. I tell people this. I tell my dad, I'm like, yeah, this dual tube costs like $8,000. He's like, what? How are these kids affording this? I'm like, I don't know.
Their
Like,
parents.
I literally
Mom's
everything's-
credit card.
everything's
It's deep.
everything's finance, man. Like, dude, it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like the level of night vision at some games is. I'll tell you this much: with Milsim West, you kind of want it only for the fact that since it's 40 hours continuous, to get the full amount. But you can get away with it. But it's like you're just gonna be in the PB all night, being like, "Oh, is there somebody gonna get me?" But like, that was the only time. Otherwise, like all the Pine Plains, all those 24-hour events, you were able to make do with how much ambient light and street light type
Yeah.
stuff was there. I never felt like whatever.
You could get away with like a game at Guardian Center or
Oh,
Camp
yeah,
Shelby without
definitely.
night vision. But I've also never done a Milsim West game without night vision, and I would
Yeah.
never want to.
Yo, I
like,
never
when
want
most-
to now. No way.
When most people
Oh.
ask me, like, hey, what should I do for Milsim West? Like, what should I bring, this, that, and the other? I'm like, do you have night vision? And they say no. I'm like, rethink this after you have night vision.
Yeah.
I was like, because half that game's at night, and you're never going to want to go out to one of those games without it.
well, the
Yeah.
big thing now is the Milsim West Arms Race, right? Everything's going thermal.
Oh yeah.
Night vision, thermal, and how much
Oh.
pyro are you bringing?
Yeah.
Yo, this weekend when I fired all that SR-25 on the Friday night, man, God, it was the best. It was so good. Thank you, Antec Airsoft, for making this awesome gun.
Oh,
I literally, there was this classic airsofter moment. So basically, I was on militia and Russ 4 obviously, and we walked in and NATO was already like set up an ambush, and it just so happened they had the high ground, and Star Wars reference.
he didn't make a joke. I was waiting for.
I was ready for it.
I had
I
the
was
high
at-
ground.
I was
He's like
actually-
he's so into.
He took
he's-
his medicine.
I was actually not interrupting the story.
Yeah, he was so happy that this gun he made was like awesome. So we get we had to make this like push like right and went up this hill that was literally the incline was like this. And I just remember me and Anthony, because Anthony's about as old as I am. I'm 38. He's like 35 or 36. And we're like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. And we went up running and we get up to the top. We have this battle on this main road with NATO forces. And then all of a sudden it just gets quiet. And then like, we start noticing some Rust 4 coming up. So we thought, oh man, maybe they're Rust 4 now. Cause a lot of them were walking away because they've already bled out. And then the best is my squad leader, Ryan Bauer, basically walks up to the guy. And oh, by the way, the whole time where the passcode was whatever added up to 6.
Yeah.
Or no, whatever added up to whatever added up to 6. So we'd be like 1, they'd be like 5. It was the same for them as well.
Oh shit!
So it was hilarious right from the beginning. We all had the same, and then it was hilarious with that. So then Bauer walks up to another NATO guy. I think it was like Rob Rag, or it was either that or the Marines or something like that. They walk up and they realize, and I'm looking at them in the thermal scope. And and the guy goes to Power goes, I guess we have a predicament here. And they basically walked backwards. And what I thought was we had saw Rust 4 because Bauer's like in with all that Rust 4. And he walked backwards like in a weird position, like kind of like moving his butt like in a weird way. So I thought he was just goofing around. And the other guy looked like he was goofing around in clear on the thermal. I was like, oh, they must know each other. And he didn't say anything. So I thought, oh man, he must be like, okay, they're going to go over there. Bauer gets back, and he goes, yeah, those are all NATO. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, if he had just said he ran away at one point and just hopped into the ravine, but then I started schwacking people and you were literally hearing the gear and you'd hear, oh, or like I saw one guy go back into the left. It was literally like reliving Oliver Stone's JFK, back into the left, back into the left. Like it was really, that gun at night was fucking disgusting. It was so good with the thermal because with that thermal, the refresh rate's so good that at a certain distance you see the BBs. It's very hard to, but because it's shooting like a little bit higher because it is a DMR, the initial you don't see. So on a lower feet per second, lower joule gun, you would actually see the BB like going out. But dude, I was schwacking so many dudes that I felt bad. Like I was like, dude, this is fucked up. I am fucking people up left and right. But then like the rest of the game, I had trouble like getting through trees because I was trying to like shoot really too far. But that gun is awesome. That gun's fantastic. I never did DMR. I was like soft.
What did you think of that AO Balkar? Like how did they do it? What team were you on?
I was on militia.
You were on militia. Okay.
So Anthony, they kind of switched it from when you and I went.
Yeah.
Because this time Rust 4 and militia outnumbered NATO.
Yeah,
they
by
had
a
like
bit.
7 platoons versus 4.
It was wild.
Yeah,
So
that's what happened last time.
yeah, but it was the other way around. NATO had a bunch and militia didn't. So
and a lot of people drop.
Yeah, so this time militia was attacking and NATO was defending. So like all my friends that are on Rob Rag were like, we were just on top of the mountain all weekend, kind of like you and I were the first time around.
Right.
It's fucking fantastic.
So Rich, you got the other end of the perspective.
Oh my God. One day at a Milsim West.
So you walked up that hill a lot.
A lot. Yes. The Stairmaster.
New
Literally-
York City man experiences.
Yes.
hiking.
Yes. I'm like crash course. Like one day at a Milsom West, I will be on a defensive position every time. Even then when I switch, I go this way or that way. I'm always on the attack. I just want to sit in one spot and be lazy for once. But but it was really challenging. Like even afterwards, it's funny. Like we were with I met the guys from Augusta, the owner from Bo.
Oh, Bryce and Bo.
Yeah, and like that guy is so nice. What a nice guy. He's awesome. And his son, at one point, like he would always go ahead with all these guys. And I'm thinking, at the end of the game, we're walking back with our rocks. I'm like, bro, dude, how do you do it, man? And then I'm like, dude, how old are you? And it's me and Anthony walking next to each other. He goes, oh, dude, I'm like, I just turned 21. I'm like, and we just laughed. We're like, we're like, oh my God, no wonder why I didn't feel as bad anymore that I couldn't like really keep up. I'm like, this guy is like literally like powered by like testosterone like pumping through his blood, like and like whatever else.
And his knees don't hurt.
Yeah, and his
Practice
knees
there.
don't hurt, and like all this other stuff. Doesn't lift 10 tons of garbage every day.
Yeah.
Like, but it was that game was fun. But like it was cool running with the Augusta, the two from Augusta and the owner Bo.
So let's take a quick break right there. We'll pick up Anthony. You can take the next question.
Yeah.
And we're back. We're gonna pick right up with Richard Campbell over here. Is it okay to call you Richard?
That's fine.
Okay.
A lot of people call me Richie. So that's
Richie.
fine.
We'll go with Richie.
Yeah.
So shoot for the next question, Anthony.
Richie. So this is like a yes or no question.
Okay.
If it elaborates into a story, it does. But
Okay.
I feel like you're just going to choose one of the two options. Have you ever had any negative experiences while playing Airsoft, such as disagreements with other players or conflicts on the field?
I have one that was kind of hilarious,
So
and it was at an AMS event, and it was at Black Site where they had it at like all the it was like all these buildings, but you couldn't go in it because it had black mold in it. It literally was like super dangerous.
Is that why they called it Black Site?
I don't know, but like it was in Mississippi or Missouri or something like that. And this guy, so somebody threw a hand grenade from outside. It's funny as the position of everybody. I just remember because I didn't know who Alphonse was yet, but he had the guac camouflage. And he was using this machine gun. I'm like, yo, shoot those assholes over there. And he's shooting. I'm stacking up on a door with Anthony and a bunch of other dudes from the company we were rolling with at the time, Z-Shot, and like a grenade comes out, but it gets thrown like 25, 30 feet out the door, out into the thing, not near us. This guy walks over from 200 feet away and it was like a scrawny kid, but he had a baseball helmet that was covered in what's the desert? I don't know the camo. The
Like
AR-1
a batting helmet?
a batting helmet with a GoPro mount,
Shit.
and it didn't have a GoPro mount on it, but it had the side vents, right, for like baseball helmets.
Yeah.
But it was hydro dipped in AOR1. What's that? The desert one.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, I think you guys, and I'm like, get the hell out of here. I'm like in kill mode, and like you can't talk to me while I'm in kill mode. Like when I'm in kill mode, I'm like, get the fuck out of my way. I'm kind of a dick a little bit. Not that bad. I'm not that bad. But afterwards, I'll be like, oh, man, dude, that was crazy. Oh, man, you were right. I'm like just laughing. Like, oh, we'll have a conversation for 5 hours with the guy.
But you're
like,
RoboCop.
But right then, I'm like, dead or alive, you're coming with me. And I'm like trying to kill these dudes. And the best is Anthony comes up to the guys like, hey, man, what's the problem? Like, what's the deal? He's like trying to like de-escalate this. It's like, well, I saw you guys shoot. And he's like, well, get killed by the grenade. He's like, well, where did you see us? Because we didn't actually, I saw him walk from that distance,
Yeah.
but Anthony didn't. He thought he came from inside or something,
Yeah.
you know? And then the guy points to where he was. He's like, you're telling me you saw it from that far? Get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
And it was just, and then he's like, well, whatever, guys, whatever. And that's like just been a thing when I see these other guys, like my friend Stu, and all these other dudes that Jason, all these guys I don't get to see a lot. We just, like this weekend, we went, to Milson West. We were just like, whatever, guys, whatever. Because it was just so wacky that the guy had a baseball helmet on. And I was like,
It was a shared hallucination.
Dude, it was just like classic. The guy came from like 200 feet away to tell us we got killed by a grenade, which he definitely didn't see. And that's one time that I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. But I've never really had, I can't think of one where I got really angry or.
Do you think that guy played baseball? Like he had the helmet? Like
I would hope
he
so.
He thought he threw the grenade. Like
I would
300
hope.
feet?
No, but like, no, he didn't. He wasn't the one that threw the grenade.
Okay.
They came from the building. He was outside dead in the middle of a field that, I'm not kidding you, 250 feet. He was very far. It took him a while. Okay, like, in a movie when somebody walks from a distance and they like edit it where like they don't see them walking and they kind of like ghost image it coming closer. That's when I saw the guy walking up and I'm like, is this guy got a baseball?
The NPC glitched.
Yeah,
that's when you play this.
Yeah.
That's when you play the Oblivion.
Yeah,
music.
yeah. I was like, what the hell? Like, oh yeah. That's literally what it felt like. I was like, what the hell? But I've never really had a real disagreement that I mean, maybe like, dude, fuck you, whatever. Like I say shit like that, but it's never that the guy, I'm just like, that's how I'm like playing. But afterwards, after the situation, if the guy gets me like, oh dude, that was awesome, man. That was great. Like, I'm never serious about it. Like I can't think of a time that I was like really. And it's funny. Like friends of mine will be like, "Dude, are you fucking kidding me? There was definitely that one time." I just don't remember. I really don't. So if there is, that's it. I can't think of what. That was the only time that I was like, "Get the fuck out of here." Whatever, guys. Whatever.
I can't see you getting an actual conflict.
Oh, like actual fist fight or something like
No,
that?
not even that. I don't even see you getting into like a call your hit kabacle or
Yeah.
whatever. Like
I can say to
you're-
myself like, this motherfucker's definitely getting hit, and I just fucking shoot more. I've always just learned from shooting more.
do you know how people like people attach certain personality traits and characteristics to like boomers and Gen Z? Like I do the same thing with like airsofters, given like what decade they were playing. So like you're like an early 2000s airsofter, and like you just have that like go.
I
Like,
played a
like
lot.
go community, help the new guy out attitude.
There
and,
was
like,
a little bit of that, and I think I've just shot so many BBs. That's why I'm like so interested in like blank fire and pyro and shooting tags and just buying all the tags as much as I can, and
Well-
like literally that just oh man, it's the best. I love that tag launcher is the best thing.
They're so accurate too, man.
I've been able to make hits at 180 meters with a rangefinder. Not like,
Yeah.
oh man, let's tell you 180. No, literally, if you get the rangefind and like you literally line it up, it's perfect.
Yeah, we Hoffman and I did a bunch of testing and stuff, and it's really accurate.
They're
Then-
very accurate.
Then when we went to Guardian,
Mhm.
it was kind of a poo-poo.
Dude,
event. But we managed to get on like the third floor of some building, and there were bad guys like trying to cross
Yep.
the street, and I watched Hoffman like
That's what's
CI like 3 of them.
that one. So like with my launcher, I have it with the HPA kit, and I found a difference between the CO2 and then the HPA. The HPA kicks ass because that is literally it's opening up the valve at 1100 psi. It's going that tank is a super high pressure tank, so it's literally firing those things at. I would like to get a chronograph and just see how fast it is because it is a 0.9 gram projectile.
Oh, 0.9.
if it
0.9.
if it can fit through my chrono,
That's
I
actually
can
not as-
set the weight
Oh yeah, we can
and
do
the
that.
Oh,
and
you
the
better-
caliber too.
I just use a pecker round or whatever it's called.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I have the
Like
pecker
if
rounds.
it's small
Yeah, but
enough
it's
to-
not going to fit through that chrono.
If it's
You
small
need
enough
like
to go through
no,
the
it's
whole
not small.
chrono.
Oh, if it's like a regular, no, I
you
need like one of
a
those.
chrono for an actual rifle.
Yeah, where the bow and arrow ones. I think it's going like I wouldn't be surprised it's going 100, 150 miles an hour.
What's the joules on that? Jeez.
I have no idea, but
Let's
they're
just
so,
not talk about it.
they're so
51.
they're so accurate because and that's what sucked about that Guardian game. I remember I had that duffel bag.
Yeah.
I brought 180 tags with me and I'm carrying it the whole time. And I fucked up by looking at I missed a screw on the back of my ML36 that must have fell out. And what sucks is I usually overpack. And I would have brought my second one, but I said, Rich, we don't need to pack that this time. I wish I did, because then I would have gotten it. I would have packed that and I would have had all the tags. But now I have between that, the last little order that happened, I think I'm up to 350 or 360 tag rounds.
You're the most tag-rich man in America.
I know, and I hope I get more.
They don't call him Rich for nothing.
That's right.
Hey, there you
Oh,
All
So,
right.
just for context, real quick, because I ran the math. Let's say it's a 0.9 gram projectile,
Mhm.
and let's just say it's traveling at 350 feet per second.
That's
Yeah.
pretty fast.
That would be 5 joules.
Oh, that's actually not as bad. What's joules on a paintball at 280?
Do you know the weight of a paintball?
I don't know, but you can probably.
I'm going to pull it up real quick.
If that were a BB, that would suck. But a
Yeah.
larger projectile, that force is being distributed
it's-
across a larger
and has the
So
mushroom
weight of a
head that like
paintball is 1.25 grams. So that would be
oh wait, am I saying a gram or an ounce? Oh, 0.9 of an ounce. My bad. My bad.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
have an
say.
ounce.
Yeah, I just realized that. I'm like, wait, I know it's it's 0.9 of an ounce. That's right.
so paintball would be 4.55.
Okay, so it's a little bit. Well, actually, that weight was wrong, but
It's just less
good-
than an ounce.
it's a good
Well, so I
call.
can change it. So let me real quick. Ounce mass, and you said 0.9 ounces.
Yeah, 0.9 ounces.
Let's just keep it at 280 feet per second. That would be 90 joules.
That's a fastball.
I was firing.
Well, that actually tracks
Yeah.
because we've seen like the photos of what happened when tags
Yeah.
go wrong at Milson
Yeah.
West. I mean,
Yeah.
prime example, my friend Connor O'Brien, he took one of the impact rounds to the back of his airframe, and it was enough to dent the back of the airframe, but also it was an airsoft replica. It wasn't a real one.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, it was a replica, but also the flash from it, because it was the impact round, it flashed through the vent on the back of his airframe and burned his eyebrows off.
Wow.
Yeah, his
I
wife
hate to
was
laugh. That's
his
So,
wife was not happy
when
after
I-
that. It singed the top of his Oakleys, like the top of his
Holy
lenses were all
shit.
black after that. I
I
think I can have the photos to show you guys
Oh.
later.
that thing that they do fly out fast, because when I first tested it out at my old apartment, I had a steel door, like an actual steel door, and I had the old Fate rounds, but the front was blown up, so it had still the rifling, and it was the plastic core,
Yeah.
right? And I fired it from about, I don't know, maybe 12 feet, 13 feet at the steel door, and it dented the steel door.
Yeah.
Dented the steel door. It made a dent, right? And it actually heated up the round. I picked it up. It was hot. It was actually melted
Holy
from
shit.
hit. It flew out and made like such a big thud noise. But like with the regular tags, but there was one Grozny game that I was doing. It's actually like it's one of Jet's videos actually, and we're like throwing hand grenades, and I'm literally I assaulted the mosque with Jordan, you were definitely there.
Oh, I was there for this.
I was literally assaulting the mosque with the ML36, and I was shooting people. I was literally reliving my Terminator 2
Oh,
gas mask, whatever. No, the gas grenade launcher.
Yeah.
I shot a guy in the back, and he literally went, "Whoa!" and like literally went into his like all the sleeping bags on the second level. I was firing them into like the little.
This was the
like
game where you were a civilian, right?
No, not that one. It was actually the Force on Force one.
Oh, okay.
But I did bring my ML36 to the Force on Force game too. That was pretty wild as well. I bring that. That thing is the best thing ever, and it's sad that like
can't get the rounds.
I mean, you get the chalk rounds, so at
Yeah.
least like that's good. The smoke, I'm curious. I never bought them. I should have.
They're not good.
Yeah.
Even the newer ones.
They're okay.
Like you need to fire 3 to 4 of them to be as effective as like one sport smoke small grenade.
Yeah.
I'm
They're
actually-
good for marking.
That would be. That's what I would thought about using them for the initial shot, and then from there I can judge wind from the back. But like
Yeah.
you're firing not that far where wind doesn't affect it. I'm telling you, like they're just so effective. Like
Yeah, they're good.
Well, who knows? Because now with the most recent tag ban, because like I can already see it coming. All of the Facebook lawyers and the armchair lawyers are going to be in the comments going, "But tags are not illegal. They're blah, blah." They're illegal. Maybe now that we see the technology's still there, those launchers are still there. Now
Yeah.
this goes one of two ways.
yeah,
Either in a year's time, tag rounds continue to go up in price on like the airsoft black market, and eventually those launchers become pieces of junk because now they're just paperweights.
Well, you mean a big
Yeah.
paperweight?
Yeah, they're a big
Thank
paperweight.
you. Thank you.
Or maybe U.S. companies will see the design and go, okay, let's try and play with inside of U.S. laws and make projectiles that are
I
safe.
believe you can do something where you do that, and if you just have the charge load, but it's just such a touchy issue. It's funny, like these places where like you can't own a firearm, but you can own like basically it looks like.
Well, I'm talking more like-
RPG, like and like
Because like
Russian,
look at
the strike art stuff.
EG67. Oh yeah, I know we have strike art stuff.
Yeah, those things are.
But maybe
Wow.
like because like we see EG67s in the direction they've taken that, because like Enola Gay started out as a smoke grenade company, and now
Yeah.
they have flashbangs and frags, and they're within the confines ish
Yeah.
of U.S. ish.
Maybe.
Maybe. But like maybe companies can see the tag in projectiles and go, okay, there might be a way we can do this legally. Like maybe it's a 209 primer. There's that one
Well,
company that's on Amped already that they're filling them with chalk and glitter. That's a good base.
Well, remember too, we're thinking of this, and we're all thinking of this in terms of New York.
Yeah.
There are free states out there that don't give a shit.
Yeah, you can have 38 millimeter grenade launchers.
The problem is that
37, yeah.
the problem's the import.
Yeah, that's
It's
the thing.
import.
Now maybe there are going to be companies that because they see there's an import ban, they can be like, well, there's a void that needs to be filled.
There's
There
a
are
void.
people with shells
I think
and
what's going to
launchers.
happen. I think what
There's
they're
a
gonna-
void right now.
I actually think what's going to happen is they're going to fight, and the ATF won't be able to just outright ban it. They'll have to say, okay, you need to be an FFL,
Yeah.
or you need to be something, or you need to get a tax stamp for a certain number. What would suck is it's at each device is going to
Yep.
be a tax stamp.
Yep. And they
So then that would be like one tag round
Yep.
is $200.
not including the tax stamp. The tax stamp's $250.
Well, so,
Oh no. So then, okay. So I if I remember,
$260 per
no, it
item.
might be the the
Well-
projectile itself may be cheap, but the $200 tax stamp on top of each individual round.
Well, so the ATF
That's right.
classified it as a destructible device,
Yeah.
which means each one has to have a serial number, which means you have to tell the ATF, hey, I'm going to set this one off.
Oh my God.
Boom. Hey, ATF, I set it off. It's destroyed now. Here's the proof and evidence that it's destroyed. Here's a serial number on it. Like that's it.
Yeah.
They classified it as basically an explosive.
The same thing as a frag grenade,
Yeah.
like a real one.
Yeah.
And the problem there being, you're never going to be able to track that pyro down at Milsom West. You're never going to be able to go take a
No.
photo of your blown up
No way.
grenade.
No.
It's not
No way.
possible.
They're making it that way on purpose.
They're making it. And I understand why they're doing it. And we can jump through as many hoops as we want. But even then, let's say you do need a tax stamp for it. Everyone in this room lives in the state of New York. Tax stamps are not allowed in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're fucked anyway. But
Oh well.
So-
Wham, wham.
all right,
The-
moving on, moving
be-
on, moving on,
really
moving on, moving on, moving on,
One
moving on,
thing.
moving on, moving on, moving on.
No.
Moving on.
The best grenade experience I had was at that last Benghazi at Zulu, the last one at Zulu.
Yeah.
And we took
the pyro rainstorm.
he took the EG67 like
No.
gut and put it in the Nerf football. And like at some point at night, like Dave just opens up this suitcase, this
Yeah.
like little briefcase with all these grenades, and I was like, oh. And he's like, yeah, just take a bunch. I was like, so like we
Yeah.
took it, we pull the pin and we just throw it. We got so much
Did a Nerf.
range out of these EG67.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had made a launcher. So those rounds were the RPGs, right?
Yeah.
This was a very early Benghazi. This is like the first one we did.
Mm.
Well, the launcher, it was like this cumbersome setup where I had what are they called? A compressor, like a
Yeah.
job site compressor.
Yeah,
And I had to run back, fill up the launcher, then run forward. and
Yeah,
shoot
I had
it.
I had a thing called a fart cannon. It would literally had fired Nerf vortex rounds,
Yeah,
not the
yeah.
little ones, but the big ones.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I like you would fire that and be like, pew! Like we literally had a sprinkler valve solenoid in it, so you could fire it, and it was awesome.
So I made these rounds. I had the small Nerf, cut the tops off, hollowed them out, drilled them out, and then took the cores of EG67s and glued them down in there.
Ah.
So now it was like a two-man operation. One guy pulls a pin, shoves it down the barrel. The other guy shoots, and it was cool as hell because it left a spark trail,
Yeah,
so you could like see it. And then
it's
it blew up.
similar to what they do in the UK. They have a lot of those the thermobaric ones that are like they throw it down a tube, it launches, and
Yeah,
they have the tube like that because they have pyro.
can you? Yeah, they
Pretty
can't have guns,
interesting.
but they can have the coolest fucking airsoft.
Yeah.
And
whatever.
their initial airsoft guns are all high vis pink and green, but
Unless you're part of
a
like
club,
a
right?
club, yes,
Yeah.
the club.
So, all right, number 7. How do you think airsoft could be improved either as a sport or as a community? Yeah.
Wow, that's a loaded
remove the
question.
people aspect.
Yeah, let's get into the
Um,
weeds, son.
Improved would be like obviously what we were just talking about, like
Yeah.
allowing the pyro and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Improve would be like, I don't know, when you meet people in person or see people in person. I mean, I think what we've been talking about a lot as far as like, I assume people aren't really being shitheads and they're actually being nice and they're actually, they actually don't feel you shooting at them. They literally have no idea you're shooting at them because your gun is only shooting. Like, assume that nobody's actually just out to get you and ruin your day.
Ooh.
Benefit of the doubt.
Well,
yeah,
so I have something to add on to that.
I mean, to make it better, yeah, that would be the thing. I mean, my dream would be like if I, like me and this a friend of mine, Chris, we literally came up with because he's been playing almost as long as I have, if not a little longer, as far as like with paintball I added on, and we thought, oh man, if we ever won the lottery, I would make Milsom West, like basically tell Josh, yo, just get this organized. We're gonna go to Camp Shelby. We're gonna make Rust 4 and militia tickets. Nothing. Like literally just show up. Maybe we'll make people $5. They gotta donate or whatever. We gotta do whatever. Maybe $10, right? You're like multi-millionaire from like a lottery. Then you have like a bunch of NATO, but they know that you're gonna be outnumbered. So they're gonna be like, yeah, we're kicking their asses. They kick us out of the city. But then we would have my buddy who's a ranger, we would buy the training cycle. We'd be able to like actually tell him, yeah, you know what, you need to like do a training, and literally we would have to flip a coin. Me or Chris would flip a coin when we got to retake the city or retake this thing, and we literally have like we have the whole, he said the whole Ranger Battalion, whatever he could get, the amount of people on Black Hawks and everything else, and just have them come in, but we give them like basic combat machines or VFCs or whatever, and we give them 10 grenades each, and they just come in. Like but one of us has to like, we flip the coin, like who's calling in like the broken arrow over the radio, like broken arrow or whatever, just to have them come in. And we were just thinking these like ridiculous scenarios where it would be like the last time we've ever played. But that's like not really kind of the question. But that would be my dream.
I think that should be a new podcast standard.
If that ever happened, but like the future, like to improve, like just I don't know, just be nicer to individuals. That's my opinion. I always try to be, and don't get so caught up in internet drama.
Oh, well, you kind of hit the nail on the head there. Like, give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Remember that we're shooting a projectile that weighs less than a quarter of a paperclip.
Yes.
And also, if somebody, there's no need to get all bent out of shape about this shit. Nobody's getting paid to go in and play fake BB Wars.
Your ticket price or your day to play was not more than anyone else's.
Nobody's getting paid to win in BB Wars. Some people make money because they run the field or they contribute to an event and stuff. And people see that and they know that. But like nobody's getting incentivized based off of their performance winning BB Wars. It's not like the NFL.
I like Field Team 6 is going to
except for Airsoft celebrities.
You know what I like the thing that Josh does at every Milsim West where he goes, I'm a silly war nerd.
Yeah.
But that whole
the
phrase
indoctrination where you have to sit there and repeat the.
It's fantastic because it really is true. Like at that level of game, like that's the thing. Like I've never had a problem at like Milsim West or anything like that because most of the time everybody's like, oh god, I'm dead. Oh, they like they want to act it out. Like
I have a hot take.
Go ahead.
So to improve the airsoft community, I think as a whole the airsoft community needs to stop incentivizing fights and flip outs and cheater videos online.
Oh yeah, I don't really watch
so many views though.
Yeah, that's the thing. It gets views, but then
I don't watch any of that. Like
so you don't. But so weird
see
perspective because
time,
so many parents come into the shop with their little Johnny or Timmy or
Susie.
Susie.
I've seen it. Yeah,
and they're like, my son or daughter really wants to play this, and they think it's so cool. But I've seen so many videos online of grown men hitting children.
Oh yeah,
because they see the fights and flip outs video,
or just like these guys are cheaters and they're terrible, and this is like terrible.
Nico Ortiz, who's a YouTube content creator, and he's watching airsoft fight videos, freaking out, going, "Look, these grown men are beating each other over a toy gun game."
Yeah, but he plays airsoft.
He burnt my patch or whatever.
But we need to stop normalizing that and making it socially acceptable in the community, because if that keeps going, there will be people that look at it and go, "I'm not letting my kid do that."
Or there'll be people looking at it and going, "Oh, that's how you play airsoft."
Yeah, like it's totally copacetic to come out and fight someone, and I have to talk to parents and be like, that's not how it is.
At Zulu, if you can or cannot deny, fisticuffs that like
No.
really
Not even once.
Wow.
And it's a large part to do with A, the way we run things, B, the staff being able to grab their cojones and address a situation. We've had guys like bump chests.
Yeah. I mean, by that time you have refs over there.
Just
so
boom.
Yeah.
Like as from a player perspective, like before I worked at Zulu, I had a player like shove me, and the moment I was like, I need a ref because somebody just shoved me, it was like fucking done. Shane came over, split it up, and it was over. It was over bullshit in CQB.
Sure.
And it was just a dude got really hot headed, and he thought his $30 was more important than our $30. And we're like, look, man, it's a game. And then he shoves a friend into the wall, and I'm like, dude, he's 16.
I think,
and that was it.
I think the airsoft community would improve if the members of said community just consist more of free thinkers and just understand that what they see on the internet represents such a small percentage of what actually happens. But if they see this 3 videos, there's 3 clips that really get spread around a lot of certain fights. Like there's one at Jericho Airsoft.
Yep.
I'm in one.
Right. There's
Dave's in one.
I saw there's obviously Rip Kid. There's another one of some guy retaliating.
Jeez, I don't even know any of these. My God.
Oh, you know Rip Kid.
If you've watched these compilations,
maybe
I'll show you off air.
Yeah.
If you watch these compilations, you'll notice some of these clips get reused a lot across probably hundreds of videos at this point.
And just like not even airsoft channel, just whatever. Yeah, because it's just like something salacious.
Within a culmination of like millions of views, but what people see are all of these thumbnails about all these fights and flip outs, but it's really about like the same 10. You know, and if you really go down that rabbit hole, which I have because I'm a piece of shit, you know, I'm just like,
I mean, you gotta
oh.
to tell you the truth, you kind of have to because like it's part of your business. So you're like, what are people? But then you can get down a rabbit hole of like meaningless things.
I'm very interested to see how like conflict situations develop,
Yeah.
how they resolve. I like to like see how it happens. If it's caught on tape, I want to see it.
Yeah.
I like to.
It's kind of like the car
I like to
accident at the
study
side of the road.
like the human behavior aspect of it.
Oh, it's always the same.
Well, you know,
It's always the same.
and it's the same in airsoft as is outside airsoft.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes to that same point with like free thinkers. Also understand if there's a fight or flip out or some angry person, it's not airsofters. You go to any population of people, there's going to be that like 1% of really disagreeable, aggressive people.
Yeah.
That's just a fact.
I've told people many times. So it's probably like 4 or 5 times. I can see people just, seeing 200 people a weekend. You can kind of pick out specific attributes or qualities in a person where you're like, brother, maybe the sport isn't for you.
Yeah.
Like super hot-headed. He's also the guy that's yelling, call your hits. He's also the guy that when he gets shot once, he's like, stop overshooting, that type of thing. And I've told at least 5 people in my 12 years of running Zulu, like, hey man, you should find a different sport.
Yeah.
Like, cause you're never gonna let this go. You just don't have the right temperament.
I think, and it's like, it goes back to what I said before about when my old field, when I used to play, where it'd be like, hey man, maybe you need to come back like in 3 weeks. Here's the money back. Why don't you come back when you got cooler head? Maybe your dog bit you or something like. And it was just such a nicer like thing. But I mean, it's funny. Like you guys are asking me, and I'm like, I don't come across too much of this. Thank God. Like only like maybe back in the day, and if I had like more memory of it, sure. But like now, I think it's because of all the cameras. But back then there was no action cameras. There's nothing on camera. There's
That's
no
also
YouTube
very
incentive
true.
or whatever. And that's what that's what drives like, hey man, I want to make my YouTube career or make an interesting video. Oh man, this guy thought I was cheating, and like thumbnail it, clip. Whereas anything that would be like really, I guess not like that would be considered boring, even though it's like kind of more interesting.
So I think some of the like more well done. It's hard for me to watch airsoft videos, but only because I'm jaded from running the field. But every once in a while, I'll stumble upon a really well done gameplay video. It's not about cheaters or anything like this, but they like take the time to like put a little map up in the corner, and it's like, this is where I'm at. This is the team's objective, and this is how we're doing it.
I love that.
And these are the guys that I'm working with, and this is how we're going in this building. That's great, dude. I love that stuff. And I've only like Night Ambush in Utah.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic video because it's just airsoft.
Yeah.
All it is. And they're moving tactically.
And then you have no idea what's going to happen. Then you see all these like tracer
Oh,
movies. You're like,
man.
oh man, this is cool. Oh man. But like, there's a lot of videos like that, and I know they don't get as much
no, because they're not
subs. It's not as
controversial.
Yeah. Having a fight or
we're conditioned by that in human nature, right? So if you go outside, walk around barefoot, and you walk through the grass, and something pricks your foot, what do? You look down and you see the thing that pricked your foot. So when you walk inside, you remember that thing that pricked your foot. You don't remember all the nice soft grass that you walked across.
Yeah.
And that's human conditioning, right? So we're kind of programmed to pick out negative things and remember them and hold on to them, so that way we can learn as a species. And I think that airsoft fights and flip outs is just kind of part of it.
Yeah, and like there's a huge amount of players that just are so oblivious. Like, what do you mean people fight? People are assholes here?
Yeah.
Like when I'm reffing, if somebody is going to have a problem, obviously it's going to be brought to my attention. It'll be brought to whoever's reffing's attention. So we, like the media, we catch such a large volume of this small problem that it's like all we see sometimes, and most players, they'll just say, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I had a good time. I had a good time. I had a good day.
Yeah,
Nobody's yelling at me. And,
I'm happy. Like your field, you don't get many of that. I really, honestly, I've never seen anybody get. I rarely even the few times like a call your hit, maybe
It's
once.
few and far between.
It's really few.
We actively, specifically with Call Your Hits,
Yeah,
we
and-
actively squash that out because of how viral it
You got to be really on top of that as
Yeah.
a field owner, I guess. You really got to be on like every little thing.
It starts out, it's rough when you start out, right? Because when you got a small number of players, like starting out as a business, I mean, because
And
back
a community in general
back
too,
when we started implementing this like direct, like do not yell call your hits thing, that was completely against industry standard. Like calling your hits, yelling calling your hits before we started that was commonplace. All right, we went directly against that, and so everybody's like, "What do you mean you don't have to call your hits here?" No, that's not what we're saying. We're saying I don't. We're saying A, your gun doesn't shoot as far as it does. B, give the player a benefit of the doubt. You know what I mean? C, you look stupid when you yell it. Like we just don't want it here. And D, it's fucking viral, so it's in everybody's heads. But we stayed on it from the beginning, and we've had massive payouts in quality of play because of that. And I
it's very rare to hear it on the field now.
Yeah.
Like I would say in the last month of me reffing almost every weekend, I've heard it once.
You know what's funny? I think a lot of it has to do also with the shift in how like kids and adolescents are growing up. Because I feel like, so I'm 24 right now. Like I was in preschool when you were getting into airsoft.
Yeah,
I was
feel old,
I
right?
was like 4 or 5, right? Now I think I was the last group of kids, like the last class of kids that also like rode bikes to your friend's house and came back when it got
Really?
dark.
Street lights
Yeah.
on, baby.
That's kind of
Yeah,
wild,
and
actually.
I
to
feel
be
like
honest
I
with
feel
you.
like the class after me, Fortnite kids. You know what I mean? So like, but now hanging out with friends in person, you went out late. You guys were having fun.
Yeah.
There was a risk involved with going out because you also kind of wanted to be safe, even if you were a kid, stupid, you weren't thinking about it so much. You needed a ride home. You know, it was cold. You got hungry. It was a group of friends. When somebody had a conflict or somebody's butt hurt and there was a fight, it often got squashed because everybody just wanted to be okay at the end. And like there was, I feel like there was a built-in conflict resolution that existed solely due to the fact that we're here to play the same game, you know, like, and I feel like there's some people now that are younger than me, and I'm not old, but I feel old because of how quickly and exponentially.
Soul, Anthony.
Dude, the culture changes. It's changing exponentially. You know,
you're
and
right.
like I'm looking at people 5 years younger than me the way that he's looking at people like 10 years younger than him, and you know, so these kids never like rode their bike to their fucking friend's house. Everything was like online, or their parents dropped them off, or they saw them at school or some function, and there was no like, look, if we sneak off in the woods, if we fuck up and get eaten by a bear or get caught, we're fucked. There wasn't that. Like,
if I get eaten by a bear, my mom will kill me.
yeah, like, you know, there was, and that's why I really like the I guess the vibe. I'm a fucking zoomer now. Coming from like early 2000s airsofters, because airsofters just like, oh my god, if the cops see us, what are they gonna think? Nobody understands this.
Dude.
And there was like a brotherhood associated with this. Like, look, we're all doing some really weird thing, and we're on the opposite.
And there was a lot of more adults back then. Surprisingly enough, there was very few kids, and it would be like the kids that came were definitely with somebody's son. It was very hard to find. Because let's be honest, the name Airsoft is literally terrible.
Yeah,
it's
people terrible
to play against,
and it was hard to find anything. Like I just remember you had to go on an old website. It's old websites. Like I don't even know if Red Wolf existed. I remember Den Trinity,
Shorty USA.
There was Shorty USA. I remember that.
Airsoft Megastar.
But Den Trinity was outside of the States. It's still I think up. What was another website?
Kapowie.
It's like you must have had to make friends with people in order for them to be on the opposite team. Because like, how are you going to get everybody to meet up? Now it's like people come and they sign up to play.
It's a lot more popular, like you were saying. It's definitely on the rise, especially Call of Duty, everything like that. All the videos, like you're saying.
Like I think that the friendship and community thing came first before.
Yeah.
And then all the experience, everybody was like, we need more pyro. We need a bigger field, right? And that was cool. But now it's like, now we have the facility. We have everything given to everybody. And the whole friendship thing is last because you're really just playing up against different strangers. You don't know who they are, and there's different people just trying it out. Yeah, it just seems very different.
So you're saying that like
there's been a shift
when
in
we
the
put
mindset.
When you put people like, so you have a community, and now we're getting an influx of people that are just starting out.
Yeah,
and they may be, good people that are like, hey, look, I'm just here by myself. I just want to see what it's up. And then you might have some people that don't understand, like, yo, that's not going to fly here. Your aggressive attitude or being like what you are.
But like,
whereas back in the day with like something like me, I'd have to like, they wouldn't even let you go to the field. You wouldn't be able to find the gun. You wouldn't be able to find a lot of this stuff.
Most people that I've seen get aggressive or hot-headed, most of them, I'm not talking about all of them. So again, there's 1% that are super aggressive, disagreeable people, and they're kind of scummy, and it sucks to say that. But most people would not get like that with their friends. But they would get like that with strangers. Well, everybody's a stranger.
Well, the community's a lot bigger now.
Yeah,
You know, I
it's
mean, when
like
Rich
how-
started playing, I mean, how many? I mean,
Yeah.
you were saying you got 120 people.
We used to get a good number of people, but like
But did you know pretty much everybody?
you
that came
started
out?
going knowing everybody.
It went
Started
from
going,
like
yeah.
it went from like a cookout where everybody had to get together in a group chat or whatever, email chain or whatever the fuck. Back in the day.
letters.
Dude,
yeah,
I
Like
don't
letters.
even know.
scrolls carried by
Dude, I don't even
pigeons.
remember how we just knew that the game was happening.
Yeah.
And like
And now it's like you went from the family barbecue type of planning to everybody's just going to McDonald's.
Yeah.
And whoever else is at McDonald's is at McDonald's, but you're really just there to get your burger. But it's not. It becomes less about if you're at McDonald's and somebody's like gets in your way, like this guy's in my fucking way at the soda fountain. But if you're at like a friend family barbecue and somebody's in the way of the punch bowl, you're gonna be like, all right, Johnny.
I'll tag on to that. Well, so basically, I remember when Quorum closed down, and then we had nowhere else to go, and it almost killed Law on Airsoft for me, and it almost made me like just kind of quit because like there was nowhere else to play. So like at the time, like Airsoft wasn't as big, and like it was like, oh man, where am I gonna go? And then like what's funny is I went to like Balahack for a AMS event, and it actually like made me like go, oh wow, this is what Airsoft is like everywhere else. This is kind of neat. Like it was an AMS event at Balahack, and I was like, wow, people are like really nice. I'm like, oh my god, because like I was used to guys being hot-headed, but it didn't matter to me because I was like, whatever. Like we were all like shooting each other like barrel of beef kind of thing. So like it was kind of weird to have people that were like really nice and like really like, oh man, I'm just here to play and all that stuff. And but I know what it's like where you don't have anywhere to play. So if you are a shithead or you make a community of shitheads and then like, it gets taken away, you'll be like, well, now you have all these guns, you have nowhere to play. Now people will just be like, well, I'll just put it on some site to sell it or whatever. I'll just get rid of it. Whereas back in the day, there was no place to do that even.
Yeah.
Like it was before Facebook. It was before a lot of this stuff to even sell. So you'd just be like a paperweight. I don't know, like that. I hate. Oh God, this is gonna sound like so boomer. Like they didn't struggle like I did type thing. Nothing like that. But like more like, hey man, if you have a community that sucks, like, or you don't treat people nice. Like my favorite thing to do is like me and Anthony used to like, we would go to like the indoor field and we would like the little kids would be terrified indoors. I'm not surprised. I'm 250 pounds running through a doorway going, "Ah!" Like I can't even imagine me being 8 years old going, oh, like just shit my pants. But the best would be like, go, follow me. And then like I'd be like, stay in this position. You're a little guy. Just go down, go really low and shoot this guy. And they would shoot a bunch of people and they'd have the biggest grin. I'd be like, dude, this is awesome. Cause I've shot enough people. Like
That kid is going to remember that.
yeah, man, it's awesome, dude. Like, and it's actually, you know what? It's hard to actually tell somebody to like actually do something and do. And it was so funny. Like sometimes we would try to do that to challenge ourselves because we would just run with pistols in CQB at Strike Force, and we just let's just try to get these kids to. And then they'd be like little tiny dudes, so you guys would always miss them because I think shooting in the chest, and they would be like getting shot right in the dick. It was hilarious. It was funny, but like just being like.
But that's the
nicer.
future of the sport too, because like Anthony
Yeah.
said with the community, and we've had that. We've had people that are shitheads that don't fit in, and we deal with it. But at the same time, those new kids, the rental player, the dude that shows up and it's his son's birthday, like that's the future of the sport.
I don't even want to say we have people that are shitheads. No, we have one individual every once in a while that is the shithead.
Well, we had
Yeah.
a group.
But we have so now the thing
Across
is
10 years, you can have a clump of people you remember, but like really it's so sparse.
Yeah, on a
for the
daily
local
basis,
for the
it's
local
very-
field, you have to nip that in the bud. I think when you go to like national events or whatever, it's kind of like, dude, you pay the fuck waiver. Like I'm barrel of beef, whatever kind of thing. It's like that's it. This is big
Yeah,
boy,
Milton West is
big
different.
big boy rules. Like, hey man, but like the local field where there's young kids. Hey man, it's a totally other thing. And like people that are just trying it out for the first time, never seen it. The only thing they've seen is a video. They have no concept.
But
of
that's the
anything
thing.
else.
So it's like you have all those experiences and those instances adding up together. You have
Yeah.
parents seeing the fights and flip out videos online going, I don't want my kid to do that. And then you come to a field and it's like if that kid has a bad time because maybe some dude's a dick to him, or maybe somebody overshoots them, or they just shrub them off because they're the hoodie warrior for the day and they get treated like shit. they're never coming back. They're going to go, that sucked. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
Then the business starts to fail. And then as a whole, the industry and the sport starts to fail because new players aren't welcomed.
And
They're now
the
treated like outcasts.
staff, just population wise, staff members are it's just not enough to like keep the friendship going. You know, every time there's a new player, I see it as like, hey, these people are probably going to come back. If they're a regular, we're going to know them personally
Yeah.
for the next however many years. I mean, I know so many people I met through the field like that. You know, I can't even.
That's how all of us became friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Pretty much.
and you know, like as the player base grows, I mean, there's people I'm meeting now that I know their face, but I can't even really remember
That's
their
literally,
name. or,
that's
like,
literally what
everything.
happens to me all
So,
the time,
but-
and I feel
and-
really bad
and-
about it
and,
because I'm
like-
I'm
and-
having an Alzheimer's moment going.
Boomer
some-
moment.
and
Yeah,
some
I'm like,
players,
what?
You know, and like
Need
the
my
thing is,
alpha brain.
the personal connection just seems like rare now, and people like that. And you know, it's like they'll come back and they'll look to you and be like, "Hey, you remember me?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, man. What about the other players, man? Why? You know, it's I think to improve the community as a whole, that just the general attitude of like, look, these people are here to, you know."
They're investing in your business, and you need to invest in becoming more
Well,
friendly.
well,
with
here's
them.
the other thing,
take
dude.
the
if you-
business out. If you just
No, I'm
have
just
the
saying in
player-
general.
If you don't have anybody to shoot at,
Yeah,
you're only going to be shooting like doing something in
you
your room,
just-
going,
yeah,
yeah.
if you
But
just
you'd be the
had
best.
the
You
players,
would be the best. I mean, you'll just become
Yeah.
a chair softer where you collect things like I do.
if
Oh, you don't want to play Call of Duty wearing your kit?
dude, if you
I've
just
never done that.
I played VR in my
Never
kit.
done that.
Cringy as fuck. If you have just the players,
Actually, that would
and
make
no
sense
field.
if you wanted, like, you just got night vision and you needed like work on your neck muscles.
No. Don't try and justify it. No,
If,
don't.
Well, if you were just sitting there watching TV and you had to like build up your neck muscles because like you don't have any.
Don't do
Like you
that
have a
motion.
giraffe- you have a
Rich, don't do
giraffe
that
neck.
motion.
I mean, I don't need to do that. I'm all right. Like I'm just saying, for anybody else wants to do it, that's
but yeah, like if you just take the staff, the field away, and you just have the players, now you're back in the dark ages again.
Yeah.
Now the only way they're gonna have anything close to that experience again is if they fucking become friends and cooperate and put it together. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
They're
community
they're making their
basically, yeah.
own safety brief. They're making their own field boundaries. They're making their own real world like rules or safe words or
safe words.
pineapple.
Safe words.
Whatever.
My safe word's banana.
Look,
Banana.
understand how many years it took airsofters to make it not a weird thing. And now it's a real world ceasefire, not a safety word
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's evolved into something more professional and like it's a beautiful thing. I just think more people need to just like fucking love each other, man.
I think everything that we've been talking about for the last 30 minutes is the same. Do unto others, right?
Yeah.
Like just be a cool hand Luke and chill out and
Just be nice.
yeah, like there's you know what I started doing probably about I intentionally started doing this because I see that it makes it's the opposite effect using the same idea as call your hits, right?
Mhm.
So when somebody shoots me, I yell out, "Nice shot."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's what people hear is, "Hey, good shot, man. Hey, nice shot."
I try to give a thumbs up, be like
yeah.
that.
Or go up
Yeah.
at the end of the game and give them a fist
Dude,
down
you
and shake their
fucking
hand.
got me, man.
Yeah,
Who was
yeah.
the guy that got me?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like well, definitely with New York or like the Northeast, that nice shot could definitely be because shooters like nice shot.
Who's this guy?
Yo,
telling
who's
me I
this,
got a
who's
nice
this
shot.
fucking asshole telling me nice shot? This piece of shit.
You wanna see a
Like,
nice shot?
Yeah,
Here's
yeah,
another
yeah,
one.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, it's like, oh, dude, God, it can just turn into that.
That
Oh my god,
positive
be like,
Hey,
man,
yo, I'm walking
dude,
here.
dude, you did such a good job, and be like, you fucking asshole.
You want to see a good job? I'll give you a good job. Come on over here.
Oh,
Bing
God.
bong.
Positive reinforcement's great, man.
Bing
And-
bong, fuck you.
Everybody loves that. Like adults don't express it, but like when you give that positive reinforcement to a kid,
Yeah.
like what I love more than just like helping a couple kids I see in the trench, like, hey guys, keep your head down. They're gonna shoot you, right? I'm gonna shoot. Then you can move up, right? And then they get a good kill, and it's like awesome. What I love
Yeah.
more than that is when a kid sneaks up on me, he's on the other team, and he like fucking earns this kill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And he-
yeah.
And I'm just like, oh my god, I'm
Yo.
like this kid.
Yo, how
is-
much does he
This
earn?
kid is Rambo.
How much does he earn? Does he earn like free tech work?
Ooh, got him.
No, he gets positive reinforcement.
Oh, you should have a patch. Be like, here, you just killed
Oh
the
shit.
tech.
It's not a bad idea.
There is someone that does that.
Yeah.
So
Yo, what you should do is if you see somebody, okay, this is a positive thing. I don't know how you could do it into your business. I honestly, I'm not a businessman. What you could do is somebody that really like gets you, kills you outright, but their gun isn't like the best. Maybe like they could have an improvement, like maybe a better barrel or something like that. Be like, and you see how they're shooting, but they were able to do it with limited equipment. You tell them, hey man, here's a coupon. If you ever get some parts, labor's on me, or labor for a barrel or something, whatever. You can come up with something. That'd be interesting. Something like that. I don't know. Hey,
So
that's
that
your
happened to one
time?
of our
That-
friends with a different tech.
That's like a Mr. Beast.
Yeah, it's kind of.
That's a little wild. I mean, that would be difficult, I think. But like, if you saw something where it's like, dude, if this guy had better equipment, like that's what happened when I used to play a little bit. I'd be like, some of the dudes didn't have enough money. I'd be like, dude, just borrow this gun, borrow my gun, please. And then he'd be like, I don't know, I don't want to break it. I don't give a shit. Just use this gun because I know you're going to be a demon with it. And they'd use it and they'd fucking kill everybody. I'd be like, yeah, get them. Yeah, you go. And then like they'd go fucking 100 yards forward, and I'd be like, awesome, fantastic.
I think next kid to get a knife kill on me.
A knife kill? I thought knife kills at Zulu.
No, they're allowed.
Oh, they are allowed.
They have to be a
think-
slashing
and a
motion, not a
slash.
stabbing motion.
Do you know that my old
if it-
field they banned Nerf swords because me and Anthony used
Oh,
to kill
you're not
people
allowed to
with
use a
them.
sword.
No, we
It
had
has
the
to be a
Nerf
knife.
swords, and we were like, huh. And like we used to. They banned them because we kept getting people with that and pistols. It was fantastic.
You know when some kids just go
Okay.
with a knife because all their guns fucking broke.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, I have good enthusiasm. Like that's if like next kid like
Oh,
that
man, that's
that gets
awesome.
a knife. I'm gonna have to feel it out.
You just marked yourself.
I'm
Yeah.
marking myself.
Oh,
Anthony,
my
I'm getting
God.
a knife kill on you.
Look,
Oh god.
Like I never get to play, and there's a high chance I'll have to walk off the field because there's like a customer.
No, but Anthony, what's the other tech that you really like his work?
there's a few. Man.
The one that you did the Instagram live with.
Instagram live.
The-
Fatco.
Fatco, yeah. So
Yeah.
Fatco does something like that because it happened to Connor Dolan while he was at the AMS game at Guardian.
Oh, that's right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was under nods, and in AMS rules, you don't have to do a fantastical, beautiful death. But Connor came around a corner, shot someone, also got shot. He did his full-on Milson West LARP death, rolled around on the ground, flopped over, was like, "I'm dead," and then he was like, "Nice shot, man." And the guy from, I'm sorry, I already forgot the name.
Fatco.
Fatco, he walked over, gave Connor a card, and was like, "Hey, man, that was really cool. I thought it was awesome. Here, take my card." And when he looked at it, it was a 60% off card.
Wow.
And Connor calls him and goes, "Hey, is this legit? Did like somebody just give me like a scam thing?" And he goes, No, I carry those." He's like, "I carry a 20, 40, and a 60 at every event I go to. And if I see something cool or someone doing something awesome that I think that they deserve it, I just give them the card."
That's pretty good. Especially him. Doesn't he have a lot of high-end toys?
Well, Connor got one of his MCX builds with that, and it's a super cool gun. And Anthony's looked it over, and he really liked the work he saw in it too. But like the thing that you're bringing up, there are people that do stuff
That's
like
cool.
that.
Yeah.
I used to give out the patches, the fart patches.
I think you gave me one at a Lion Claws game.
I probably did. I ran out of those. I wish I bought more. Those I don't know like who has the old file. I'd have to like go to a patch place and be like, can you like copy this? And they'd be like,
Do you still have the high res JPEG file?
No.
Yeah, but you can send that to somebody. I mean,
Yeah, that's
you,
what-
you could probably redo it.
Yeah, that's
You
why I
could
was
probably
saying. Like,
redo it
if
for
you
me. I
could,
should just have you do it.
if you
Like,
can
it's-
get me the logo, like it's the logo of the
it's literally the
Instagram
font.
page,
It's
right?
li-
Yeah, it's like a
basically,
whoopee
yeah.
cushion.
Yeah,
It says
basically,
fart.
yeah. I had that and in Woodland, it was awesome.
Well, you got to stand in line. I'm still waiting on a Spanish safety brief and the normal safety brief that we recorded.
So
really?
and a map
for
of the field.
well, the map of the field we've been over, but off air we'll talk about that because
Yeah.
I need to run some stuff by you.
All right. Oh yeah, number 2.
You got another another
Oh, yeah,
question.
there's like 10 here.
Oh, I love it.
So I think you already touched on this one a little bit.
Nah, but maybe he can go into detail.
Have you ever considered?
Number,
wait, no.
Number 2.
We're doing number two.
Remember we skipped it.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. What has been your most memorable airsoft experience or game?
What's the best time you ever had at Airsoft?
Dude, your eyes.
Like legit.
Your eyes just widening.
You know it. Stands out in your mind
there's-
right now.
Okay, one.
I've heard stories that don't even sound like an airsoft game. Like they just sound like a crazy.
Okay.
night out.
Oh, geez, you know what's funny? I'm drawing the one blank on the one. One that was really good was me and Anthony were at Pine Plains, one of the Pine Plains. It was when I first got my Polar Star. It was actually one of the first PR-15s, and I got it off Arnie's Airsoft forums
Oh,
because a guy didn't like it because he was a tech, and he's like, dude, this thing is like just simple. It's like I just do I'm a tinkerer. I thought it was a scam, but the guy sold me, and I was like, this is awesome. And at the time, I remember we were playing, we were going up a staircase. I shot a guy. Anthony has the KWA Mark 23. We really liked those guns. They were hand cannons. They were fantastic. And I remember I got killed after killing 2 dudes going through like if you remember Fort Drum. Fort Drum's like very European-esque houses, how they're structured, like the townhouses. And then Anthony is like trying to get this one guy, and we're all like dead, but like we're just standing watching this because it's in the dark. We don't have night vision, but it's like light enough to see people. And Anthony turns around and goes, "This is some good airsoft shit, right?" And it was like the weirdest fucking thing, but it was hilarious because he was trying to get this guy, and oh man, that was good. Oh man, God, I'm trying to think of some others. Oh man, I wish you asked me this question before, so I could have thought.
We can come back to it.
There's the Milsom West, the first insurgency game at Shelby. I remember standing in the courtyard with no gun. None of us did. And I remember I was with Christopher Ratton from Ballahat because he was staying at our little building we had, and Anthony. And then like we were just like, oh dude, we all had to like go in the center area, and then like all the NATO was surrounding us. And then all of a sudden, like one of the Rust 4 guys tried to like light off a grenade. I remember one of the Grom guys, Evan Guy, like literally jumped on him like some kind of like protect the president type thing. And it just went into chaos. But I remember right before that, I literally was standing there going, dude, if this was like real, this would be we'd be fucked. Like, and then like,
was this the massacre in the center of the town?
Yeah. And then I just remember going, I literally remember turning to Chris and going, do you have a gun? Do you have your like airsoft gun right now? He's like, no, I don't. I'm like, dude, I didn't, because like we just didn't bring it for some odd reason. I don't know why we didn't have it.
So that was right after the ceasefire, because that's the only time at Milsom West there's been a game-wide ceasefire. So and
then it went into pandemonium, and I just remember like, oh my God, we're running. Oh God. And we went back, and then I just fired I must have fired like 75 tags on the roof of that building. We were using, me and Anthony brought Tanaka Car 98s.
Oh, nice.
Dude, those guns were dope.
Those guns are awesome. They still have little symbols on them, which is kind of wild. So
cool.
Yeah,
but yeah, because that was the only time I've seen like a full game ceasefire at Milsom West that wasn't their decision, because there was a pop-up thunderstorm, and because of the lightning, Camp Shelby was like, you have to stop everything, everyone needs to get into a building. So there was an hour-long ceasefire. Well, actually, this happened again at Guardian too. Yep. And after that was all done, because of the fuckery that the civilians were doing, because it was 100 NATO, like 25, 30 Rust 4, and 350 civilians.
Oh, it was fantastic. But they gave us all ammo.
They gave everyone ammo,
like
which
the same
was
amount of ammo.
Numero uno.
Yeah, they shouldn't have given us bags of ammo. And I couldn't believe it. And that was a bad call. But dude, that was wild, because I was like, and Anthony said that was his favorite game, that insurgency game.
That entire instance was wild.
Yeah, that was really wild, because I was like, dude, this is, and then it turned into like all out like block war type shit. I was
dude,
like,
Rust 4 was ready for that, because I remember we were in the back and I watched the shit happen with you, and then all of a sudden on the top of the Moss building, a blank fire MG42 just pops over.
Oh yeah, that was
one of the crowd.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was nuts. I was like, oh my God.
I have a video clip of this. I'm gonna put it on screen.
Yeah, the ML36, that time where I stormed the mosque, that was pretty wild, because I was literally firing like that. I'm trying to think of some others. There's a lot of like memorable moments. Like my first battle for Tolan, that was an old game. Wow. I forget, what year. That was like the first like 350 player game up in Connecticut or Massachusetts.
Yeah, Tolcom out in Massachusetts.
Yeah, there was that.
Sato?
No.
MSATO did a game there way later,
this
but
is way before
it started out as just, I forgot
Battle
the
organizer. Yeah, I forget the organizer, but
that was a GMR thing for a while too. Like they were like, we're going.
That was fun, because it was like Woods Ball, but there was some like little like village type thing.
Yeah.
That was a cool. That's big. I can't think of anything. It'll pop in my head like either after here and go, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember this.
Well, what about some of the stories from the Washington games?
Like what? I never went to Washington.
Oh, I thought you did one.
No. I
was
never
gonna say, because Brom's got some.
No, they did really like. I've never been to the Washington events, because either most of the time those are on like Labor Day.
Yeah. And
I could never get off. It was like every other time, and then I haven't done.
Because that was also back when Milsom West used to do 4-day games.
Yeah, they
Ugh.
did the one day that was 60. Honestly, if you did a 60-hour event that was insurgency and you had like limited ammo,
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
that'd be totally wild. Like that one game, I was like, dude, this is friggin' wild. They had a nightclub. They had the guy making food. They had a guy
Yeah.
that was barbecuing, and the guy made like a killing. I was like, Anthony, we should like open up a pizzeria or
That was
something
the
like that.
smartest thing ever because like then we figured out by Saturday afternoon as NATO, you could strip down your skivvies, just like conceal carry a pistol, walk into town and go buy a burger.
Yeah,
And it was
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah, it was pretty wild.
But
That-
you'd see the dudes that were on Rust 4 and they'd know you were NATO and you
Yeah.
just kind of look at each other and be like, nope.
Don't
nope,
mess up my
we're-
burger.
We're
Yeah.
getting food and then we're getting out of here. Anything that happens to block over, that happens. But
Yeah.
here we're here for food.
God damn it, it's a truce somehow.
I do not want to eat another mountain house. That dude's got burgers and dogs.
Yeah. All right. Number 8 from Chat GPT. Do you think the portrayal of airsoft in media is accurate? And if not, how would you describe the sport to someone who has never heard of it before?
Oh my-
This is good, man. Chat GPT.
Oh my
comes
That's a
through,
dope
dude.
question.
Jesus.
So when has airsoft really been in the media? I know somebody took a Milson West clip. and
Oh,
put it-
Oh, that was
That-
CNN.
CNN?
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
I
from
saw that.
GTI.
Remember Vice did a
Well, they just did
MSW
one. They just
that's
did.
right.
documentary?
Yeah, so that Vice docu series was actually pretty good.
If you
Yeah.
if you pull up Anton Laszlo, I was in his platoon this time. They mimicked the that Wagner
Yeah.
guy. They mimicked that.
Oh,
They had one of the Rush 4 guys, like
Oh.
one of the guys that was Russian speak. Oh, it's wild.
what's
Oh, it's
I know
wild.
that.
They just did the video. It's hilarious. And I
Yeah.
think they were like somebody put on
I
live
mean the
leaker.
video when he's like,
Well,
pointing
Live
at
Leak
it?
Yeah,
came
yeah,
out
yeah,
for
yeah,
a
yeah. Just now, you just saw it, right? Did you see it?
Yeah.
The best is my friend Stu, like
Wow.
who speaks all like he literally the man's a genius. If you're watching this, Stu, you are a genius. You literally speak like 26 or 35 languages.
Get out of here.
Yeah, the guy is genius. He'll be like, no, I'm not that good. Oh my, I don't like that. No, he's a genius. The guy's like Fulbright scholarships like left and right. The guy knows like he's not just like the language. It's like a dialect of the village of the one generation of the guy. It's like really in the weeds type stuff, like his language ability
Bogosian,
skill.
sorry.
Yeah, his language ability skills. But he translated it all for the guy, and oh man, it was wild. I was like, when they were filming it, because I was kind of sleeping a little bit. I watched it. I woke up watching it and going, oh my god, this is so meta. This is hilarious. But yeah, I guess the one bad time was like basically why tags are kind of
Yeah.
is there was a shooting and the tag on the floor, and I saw the picture of the brand. I'm like, oh
Damn it.
no. But trying to describe what airsoft is like to like a potential partner is a little difficult
Yeah.
because obviously
It's like
I
painball.
well
But
yeah,
Oh,
it's like
how's that in the
paintball and I
dating
do
scene?
that. Well, that's kind of weird, especially since I live in New York City and like
Yeah.
guns are bad but then like actually to tell you the truth, I just claim it as hiking, and then if I show them, I don't do it right away. But
you,
then
wait. You tell potential mates that you go hiking for
Yeah.
3 days,
So
and
how do
you
you
come
break-
back with welts and shit.
How do you break the ice? on
I
the
do
dating
heroin
scene
when I'm hiking.
with-
That's why I'm breaking
with
out
New
in
York
swords,
City
so-
women in
Well, I mean,
airsoft?
you just have to I just tell them, I just show them some pictures. I'm like, yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. This is what I do. And they're like, oh, I think it's actually gotten better because as it's gotten popular, like, oh, my brother does that, or
Yeah.
like my cousin, or I've seen a video, or I've seen like they kind of have an idea, and they're like, I always make it like, yeah, it's really weird, nerdy, hot, and then like, but I make it worse than it is, and then when I tell them, like, oh, that's not that bad. Like
You
I was,
flipped- you
they were
flipped
like,
hot.
I'm expecting you were a furry that like tying women up, or like you like whatever,
Hey, it's
insert
2023.
whatever.
We don't kink shame.
whatever, yeah. But like usually I don't, I haven't. I mean, I've been playing a long time. I don't think I'm ever gonna give up. So like and it's
You
just
got to
a
be
thing.
along for the ride.
It's
Yeah, I
it's
kind of,
important
but
to
I
lay
don't.
down.
I never had anybody like be like about it. So I mean, if they have, and that's been a reason, and that's why they didn't want to hang out after. I'm like, well, fucking pound sand.
Yeah, they weren't
whatever.
worth it
But
anyway.
yeah, I mean, I just explain it. I show some pictures, and like, oh wow, you're like really serious. I'm like, yeah, like I show them like I show them a CQB video of
Yeah.
a picture of me with my Avon M53 Special Forces gas mask and all my night vision, and I just kid it out. I look like it's definitely ridiculous.
So
if you put the
instead
same
of-
amount of money into like a Lamborghini, they'd be all over it.
Yeah,
So
I
instead of
can't
just,
even
like,
imagine. I
towing
can't even
into it.
imagine how much I've spent in airsoft. I can't even.
But instead of like easing them into it, you're just like, here's the most ridiculous photo I have. of
I mean,
doing
after a
this.
while, because they're going to ask you what are your hobbies, and I'm like honest, like I tell them like different things. Because if they don't like there's some that like literally do not like firearms or anything. But then like to tell you the truth, if you tell them what that is, they're like, oh, so it's like paintball. I'm like, yeah, it's like Call of Duty. I got to run around. They're like, oh, okay, that's not like that big of a deal. Like, it's.
It should
I don't
be.
go right off the bat. I'm an airsoft. I don't put that on my dating profile. Like one of my
Oh,
things.
Yo, I've seen that.
Yo, why not? Oh man,
I would. You could. I don't think you could because it would show a gun and that would be a problem. Like it would
Yeah.
flag it. I would assume, unless I did it in full kit. First off, they'd think I'm like stolen valor or something
Yeah.
like that. I'd be like, "Are you a Marine or are you in the Army or something?" I'd be like, "No, never was." And but like I would never do that. That would be so bad.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Oh,
stolen valor's not good.
Stolen valor. Oh, man.
Grow a really thick mustache and pretend that you were,
Oh my
in the
god.
military.
Oh god. But yeah, that I never had. I never really. I can't think of like total negative. There's been like one or two that were like, I don't like guns, or like it was like a teacher, but like then it didn't work out anyway because like it didn't align anyway. But
Yeah.
no one's ever. Because then they see you have other hobbies, and you're like, oh, okay, you just like, so this is like what your friends do. And I'm like, yeah, I see my friends. And then they see like, if you're like a big picture of like 40 other people that you go with, they're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I always start it the same way. I'm just like, it's kind of like paintball.
Well, it's
but
kind of
a
like
little
paintball. You
different.
do this. It looks like the guns are analogs of real, like
Yeah.
firearms. They look like that, and they do this. And I go a 3-day high. They're like, wow, you do 3 days? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, 40 hours. Like, what? When do you sleep? What with it? When I describe Mills West, no, you're just like you're up the whole time, or you kind of sleep, but somebody's got to watch. Like, wow, that's intense. Like, yeah,
Sure.
that's it.
Smelling salts.
All right.
I've never done that yet.
Everybody's
done it.
It's not worth it.
Everybody's like, yo, you feel the power. I'm like, what?
No.
I don't think
Oh no, I do smelling salts every game.
you feel the pain. That's all.
Yeah.
You,
All right. I guess I have to try it next time.
you feel the pain in your sinuses.
I'll hit you with some smelling salts. Don't you worry.
Just eat a bunch of wasabi. It's the same.
Hmm.
Essentially.
All right, so we're running a little short on time, so I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. Number 9, have you ever considered quitting airsoft? If so, what made you decide to quit playing? I think we kind of touched.
Yeah,
on this a little bit.
2011
Yeah,
kind of thing.
when
Yeah.
your field shut down.
Yeah.
Number 10, what advice would you have to give somebody who is starting out in airsoft?
We talked about iPro.
Yeah.
Find a field in your area. Maybe definitely rent a lot beforehand.
Yeah.
Don't buy anything. I'd say rent a couple of times. Bring friends with you if you don't have any like that aren't interested. If you don't have any that are interested, go to a game. Maybe try to introduce yourself to some people so you have some friends, and or take a photo with those said people. Hey man, I'm trying to get my friends in. You guys look cool. I mean, that's really hard because that's like really hard social skill to do that.
Yeah.
Be like, yeah, I'm trying to show my friends this is like Call of Duty with like running around or whatever. Yeah, and then when you buy something, like I would just ask every person, what do you have?
Yeah.
What do you use? It would be I could see it being very difficult. So that really where it comes into like senior players or people that played a long time. If you see somebody like that, like just be like, hey man, yeah, don't get that gun or don't get that, like don't get a bolt action your first gun, man. Just get a combat machine or just
Yeah.
get something that's like basic. Where are you trying to play? Are you trying to play here? Cool. I like just give them some pointers, and like some places to look up or whatever. That would be my
You know what he just described? Bob.
Yeah.
Everything
I
you
can't
said,
believe that man. I can't believe that man is like 74 and still running.
but
around
everything you
NSO.
just said is what Bob did.
Yeah.
Bob came to the field for months on end and asked a bunch of
He was
questions.
a weirdo.
With
And then
with a
he
notebook.
got with what's his name?
Dan.
Dan Downs, and
Yeah,
was just
Dan.
like, "You guys look cool. Can I run with you?" And
Yeah.
that's how Bob got into the sport.
Yeah, man.
That exactly what you just described is what he did.
Yeah, I mean that's the best. It's a little hard for like young kids. Like we had that it was a couple weeks ago when I was in the shop with you, and that
Oh, that mom and son came
Yeah,
in.
and
That
like-
was such a breath of fresh air.
yeah, and he
Breath of fresh air. There
yeah,
we go.
I was
Sorry.
like, what?
Alliterate.
Okay,
Still
and
getting
then
over my lisp.
the
Breath of ass air. Oh,
that and the kid really wanted to dive right in, and I'm like, yo, man, you should like just make sure that you like the game. So why don't you rent?
Yeah.
Tell us when you're coming out. Like, I don't mind. Like, yo, this is what's going on. This is how it works. And
I was thinking about them today because
do you ask when you have new people? When you have a game, do you ask people, hey, whose first time is it?
depends on the ref.
Depends on the ref, depends on the crowd. I mean, visually you can kind of see, like in a day where there's a lot more newer players, then we'll address it. But
Like
for the most
today
part,
was
no.
Now,
today was a lot of new players.
By now addressing it, does that single them out? Do you find that that's a positive experience or not a positive experience?
It's easier with smaller groups.
Yeah.
Because we do that first big safety brief, but then we have the TV where we play the video. So if it's like a later safety brief, if I like, you can tell if they're newer players because obviously, like we'll check them in and we'll see their waiver. And before I start the video, I'm just like, hey guys, I know like some of you guys are new. You know, like, do you have any questions before we start? I know you're gonna have questions after, but like, you know, just let it out now so we can focus on this video, get you guys out there, and
You gotta
you know,
and this, I tell people this all the time. Like, for us, it's not a big deal, but for other people, you got to think about it. You're playing a character where you're trying to fake murder another individual with a what looks like a real firearm and screaming and yelling. It is like, for other people, it might be like, oh my god, this is like intense. Especially for younger children, would be like, damn, this is wild. So you got to like kind of take that into account as
Easy,
well.
man.
Yeah.
Wise words from the grand old man of Airsoft. Rich, I got to cut it a little short. We're running out of time here. Thank you for coming on. It was a great time.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you did fantastic.
I had a blast. I'd love to come back.
We'll have you for part 2.
Yeah, we can
Part
do it.
2.
We can do it for part 2 on this. We'll start it a little bit earlier. That way we don't run into a time crunch. Also, everybody, just remember, Benghazi tickets are still live. GRS obviously sold out, but OP4 tickets there are plenty of. Also, Crossroads tickets are live. They are selling pretty quickly, so I would jump on that if you're thinking about doing that. And as always, good night. God bless.
What about Antec? Oh yeah.
He already gets a spot.
Yeah, he gets a spot in the beginning.
Oh, he gets a spot in the
But
beginning.
also, just to chime in, because there have been some people that have brought it up on the Facebook and Instagram. Yes, Crossroads is now in July, and now the swap meet is the following weekend after. I believe it's July 23rd and 24th.
Swap meet.
It's
Flea market.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I have one near me. Oh, I'd make the good deals.
It's always fun.
Anthony knows I make those good deals.
Flea markets are always fun.
I got him a gun that he was looking for. I said, hold on, I'll get you. Don't worry. And I got him, and he's like, I can't believe that.
I don't even know how you did it.
And an arms dealer. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's going to wrap it up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking with us. Make sure that you like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Share it with your grandma on her birthday. She'll love it. And good night. God bless. We're out.
Peace.